stuff here, so.
Yeah, we are. I got it on my iPad here.
Do you have? Can you check and see if the audio's good? Oh, no.
Yeah, okay. Trey, I'll do the 15-second opener. We got you, come back to me, and then do I go into break for the pregame? Oh, it's like, okay. Okay, so I'll just go right into the intro. We can talk a little bit about last week's game.
Okay.
The Stangs are looking to buck the playoff seedings as they host the Mansfield Timberview Timberwolves. It's Defend the Turf, and we've got it live. This is a special Thursday edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
We can talk about this stuff.
Okay.
Right, he's going to be stopped short. And it's into the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh, this time.
I just don't know if she's been.
No, she has been though.
Mustang
I
Friday
do
Night
send it
is
to her.
proudly presented by the Grubbs family of dealerships.
If you got it handy.
I do.
Welcome to the Mustang Friday Night Pregame Show. Now here are your hosts, Mason and Drew Doherty.
You're live now.
We bring you to Mustang Panther Stadium. Storms in the area tomorrow. It will be an emotional night for the Mustang seniors as they'll have the senior night festivities go on before they kick it off against Mansfield Timberview, who sits in third place in District 3 5A Division 2. It's the Grapevine Mustangs versus the Mansfield Timberview Wolves on a Thursday night special edition of Mustang Friday Night. Hello everyone, I'm with former Grapevine wide receiver Drew Doherty, and I'm Mason Doherty, here to get you ready for tonight's game. Our title sponsor tonight is Grubbs Family of Dealerships. Well, the Grapevine Mustangs, they had another tough loss last week at the Colony, losing 38-23. The secondary, well, they played well in that first half until the Cougars eventually clicked through the air and passed for a total of 304 yards. Grapevine is now 1-6 overall, 0-5 in district. Now the Wolves, they're coming off a win against Burleson last week, winning 28-13. Now their starting quarterback, Stephen Hall, we're going to see tonight, he passed for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. They are now 5-3 overall and 4-2 in district. Now, Drew, with this short week for both teams, as this game, of course, was moved up due to the possible severe storms we might see tomorrow, how can that affect both teams here and become a factor mentally, possibly, leading up to tonight's game?
Well, it's a short week, but you got to have that mindset. The coaches are implementing it to the players, anytime, anywhere mentality. Stay ready. Whenever they need them to play, they'll play anytime, anywhere. So that's the mentality kind of going into a, short week, kind of by surprise due to the forecast. But, yeah, Grapevine staying ready to go.
Well, like I said, you were a former player, so think about it this way. Would you rather have it where you know you're going to be playing a day earlier or possibly get caught up in a possible storm on Friday where we've seen at times where you got about a 2 to 3 hour delay sometimes too?
Yes, I'd say specifically on the offensive side of the ball is where you get, you want to make sure the conditions are good so where you can get some points up. If it's a blizzard out there and it's storming real bad, offense is going to struggle. But then again, on the defensive side, that may benefit them as well. We saw, I think it was Tua in Cleveland last week against the Browns. I mean, just 3 interceptions during a nasty weather. So, just got to stay prepared and, short week, but ready to go.
Well, going back to last week where Grapevine did have some success in getting to that hurry-up offense against the Colony. And, this is a team that prefers to get the ball out quickly, but also to work methodically down the field. What does Grapevine need to do tonight to be successful? Because they're going up against a very athletic and talented Timberview team that can score in bunches. But, again, it's like you almost feel like you got to have a balance there between having that hurry-up offense but also too slowing the game down.
Yeah, no doubt. It starts with communication. That's first things first. Get the play in, get lined up correctly, and make sure everyone knows their job for a specific play, especially on the offensive side of the ball. It'll allow the offense to get in a rhythm and, stay some of the best offense that we've seen from Grapevine has been in that 2-minute offense this year. But like you said, reference and balance. You want to make sure you got a good handful of the same, good runs, good passes, get in a rhythm for these quarterbacks to go out there and make some plays.
And you bring up a good point, Drew. They've had some success in what seems like a 2-minute offense at times. Where does that success come from? Is it the pressure that gets put on the defense in those cases?
I'd say, it's practiced very well. You can be 2 plays ahead. You're running one play, and then in the back of everybody's mind on the Grapevine offense is, they already know the next 2 plays they're going to run, or, at the very least, the next play. So you get one positive play down, you get lined back up on the ball, and you have an opportunity to catch the defense on their heels a bit.
Well, as you can see down on the field, we have senior night festivities that are already starting for Grapevine, and the emotions will probably be at an all-time high here tonight. Now, of course, Grapevine will have technically one more home game against Colleyville Heritage, but due to district rules, it cannot be considered a senior night. So with that being in play, with the festivities, the players down with their families, that definitely comes with some emotion that we'll see down there on the field too.
Yeah, and absolutely. To touch on senior night, I'd say that, I didn't, when I was a senior or whenever I was a football player in high school, I didn't believe that it flew by. They always say it flies by, enjoy it while you can, but it truly does. So tonight gives these seniors the opportunity to kind of stop and relish the moment. And like you said, being with their families, they're the people that have got them to this point, that've been there to support them. And so it also gives an opportunity for the seniors to shed some light on the people that have made an impact on their lives. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's a supporting cast with the families. I mean, heck, I remember when I went down to go see you when you had your senior night over with Grapevine and have down in those festivities. It definitely plays a part with everyone being down there and sharing that special moment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It may not hit. Like you said, they do have a game here next week against Colleyville, but it's a lot of emotions before the game. During the game, you're locked in, you're ready to go on the assignment, a task at hand. But it also kind of can carry some weight after the game. More of a reason to walk away with a win here if you're the Grapevine seniors.
Well, you see head coach Ryan Smith down there with the players and the families, and we caught up with him for a pregame interview, and we'll go ahead and play that here for you all as we talked about senior night, with the senior group, what it means to him, and a couple of players that have been standouts with this senior class as well. As you keep on watching here, it's a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
And we welcome you back to a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night. Our title sponsor is Grubbs Family of Dealerships, joined by head coach of the Grapevine Mustangs, Coach Ryan Smith. Coach, this is obviously an emotional night ahead here with it being senior night. And you've brought it up multiple times how this class is really the pillar of what you're trying to create here, the culture. And it's going to be probably one of those things where, be just years down the road where you really get to see that result that you were looking for from this group here, just how they wanted to start this culture to where you want it to go going forward. So with that being said, Coach, what has been that biggest impact from this senior class now that you're here towards the end part of the season?
Yeah, I just appreciate them. I mean, there's definitely been a buying into me and buying into our vision and buying into what we're doing. Unfortunately, we've been sowing a lot and not reaping a lot, if you predicate scoreboard as reaping. But I think beyond that, the one thing that we've done a great job of as a staff, and our senior leadership's been pivotal in it, is we haven't lost sight of who we are as men and our development and our character and those type things throughout this entire process. We hadn't lost sight of that. We've continued to kind of, be great men, get better as leaders, play forward. That's been a big term for me, and it's kind of been our mantra all year. Is like, guys, we have to play forward. You can't play this game backwards. You can fix it backwards, but you can't play it backwards. So we have to play forward. And I've been really proud of them, because there's been a consistency. You take away the Mansfield Summit game, we play hard for 4 quarters. We'll continue to grind out and start to find, success offensively and defensively late, even if we don't find it early. And there's been a consistency of 4-quarter play out of these guys, and that's just a testament to the men they are. And again, the thing that I've had to apologize, and I have several times with seniors, is I'm sorry they're not going to see the fruit of their labor. They're not going to see, based on what they've invested, they're not going to see those results. They're not going to see that fruit.
Well, that senior class that you have, Coach, before we move into a couple of players that are examples of that, how much has that helped you engrave that culture that you wanted this team to have from the beginning up until now? How much support did you get from them? Because it seems like, to your point, they definitely bought in, and I'm sure it's helped having those seniors be another voice for you throughout this year as well.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome because, you walk into those situations and you have to make a very quick decision really quick. You have to process whether the seniors are going to get on board or whether they're going to check out. And if they check out, you obviously pour into the young ones. You take your lumps with sophomores and some juniors and maybe even some freshmen. And you kind of keep rolling, and that's what you do. The thing that I've been proud of is that our seniors hadn't checked out. We've continued to honor them. When we went into bye week, there was an evaluation for us of whether we were going to bring up some freshmen, some really talented freshmen, and kind of start pouring into the youth of our program, or were we going to stay committed to the 106 and these seniors and making sure they had a great experience holistically and just be invested in them. And it was a very easy decision because they're great men. So we want to stay very committed to these seniors, allow our freshmen to stay at their level, allow some of those JV guys, those kind of tweener guys that are on the bubble of coming up, allow them to stay down, continue to have success, play at a high level, keep getting better, play with an expectation of success, and just, play the long game a little bit. And but again, that's a testament to the seniors because their character hasn't changed. They've been consistent, they've worked extremely hard, and they've done that, and it's been awesome.
Well, speaking of a couple of those seniors, one I want to mention about is Luke Gormley, who's been playing out of his mind here lately. I mean, made that great play last week, read the offense perfectly, which resulted in him picking up that interception and had many tackles. I was all over the field. And what I want to ask from you, Coach, is obviously he already came in with talent this season. You see the tape from last year. But what have you seen throughout him this year, especially here lately, that has made him so successful out there on the field?
His coach, just the ability to be coachable. The first pick 2 weeks ago against Burleson was something he got beat on in the second quarter. Coach Smalls and Coach Finley and our guys coached it up. He responded correctly. He reacted correctly, and he made a play. The big thing for him that we've been really impressed with, and we've told a lot of college coaches, is he plays sideline to sideline really well. Like, that's a big thing with linebacker play. Can they play the full 53 1/3 of width? Can they play sideline to sideline? Can they get into coverage? Can they play in the box? Can they play in the alley? Can they play the edge? And he's been able to do that at a very high level. And again, what's really cool is, like, he's just kind of just coming into himself within the scheme of this defense, which is really a lot of fun to see.
Well, and then moving over to the guy next to him, at least some of the time. And the reason why I say that is because he's playing both ways now in Cooper Towery. And you really get to see that athleticism from him, not only defensively, but offensively. And you talk to coaches, and sometimes coaches will say it's not more of a physical thing, but it's more of a mental thing in order to play both sides of the field. But what has really stood out to you regarding Cooper Towery's performance here lately?
So that's been kind of our expectation all year. We've kind of spot played him a little bit on offense, but the goal was that his body, when we got to the end of the season, because he plays pretty reckless. I mean, his style of play, man, he plays pretty loose. He's pretty reckless, and he's no homage to his body. You know, I mean, he plays the game like it's supposed to be played. And so, you know, now that we're toward this final third of the season, this was our goal all along, was to get him to this place and start utilizing him more. And we've done that. And then obviously having a few guys injured, a few guys hurt, has something to do with it too. So it's been, it's been really cool to watch him play. And he just plays hard. He's a very hard player. He's committed to Harding at running back, actually. So we're trying to make sure that he gets enough body of work and experience that when he goes into that experience, he has some foundation laid of running with football and, seeing open gaps and running open field and that type of thing. So that's been a goal of ours all along. It's just what he does for us defensively with his mentality and his juice and, the position he plays is just extremely important. So that's kind of the deal. Well, that's the deal with him.
Well, and Coach, is it more about his intelligence or maybe even a combination of his intelligence and his field vision? Because you'll see it on offense. He knows how to pick a hole and run through it. And defensively, it seems like he's always there where he needs to be at. So is it a combination of both, or is there something else that's added on to it that's allowed him to be so successful here lately?
I think our coach is doing a good job of scheming it up, getting him into a place to make plays, because we know when he's in the place, he's going to make the play. 1, 2, he plays relentless football. He plays with a relentless, we talk about, we call game day grit day, which for us is an acronym, means give relentless intensity tonight. And man, he embodies the element of relentless intensity. That's what this game requires. That's what you got to have to play it. And man, he does it at a very high level, and it's pretty awesome to watch.
Well, good stuff, Coach. We're all excited about the upcoming matchup between you and the Wolves. Thank you for your time as always. And stay tuned, everyone, as we do get you ready for the matchup between the Grapevine Mustangs and the Mansfield Timberview Wolves. Get you some keys to the game, starting lineups coming up on a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night. Again, our title sponsor, Grubbs Family of Dealerships.
Thanks, guys. PTL, go Stangs.
And we welcome you back to a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night.
So we just heard head coach of the Grapevine Mustangs, Coach Ryan Smith, talk a little bit about that senior class. And Drew, you bring up a good point about the importance of that first year for a head coach coming to a place like Grapevine and setting the tone, bringing his culture in, and having those players buy into that.
Yeah, no doubt. When you're the first-year head coach, you want to get the seniors to buy in because, you want to win some games, but you're also starting a culture that you're trying to build. And this team, these seniors on this team have totally bought in, and that helps building culture because they're the old guys in the locker room. They're the captains, the leaders of this team. Specifically, let's talk about this linebacker crew. All seniors. They've been the backbone of the defense all year. So, yeah, I'd say it's just very important to have your seniors buy in, and that says a lot about these seniors, and it says a lot about Coach Ryan Smith and what he's trying to build here.
Well, and it comes back to those players and more of kind of like a peer-to-peer type of learning, because when you have that coaching not always done by the head coach, the offensive coordinator, by the defensive coordinator, but it comes from that senior group that's able to provide that guidance and knowledge and setting that example, that tone for the rest of the program. I mean, Grapevine has some great youth coming through. The freshman team's had some great success here lately. JV team, got to think about those players that are on the verge of getting into varsity as of next year. But for those players, and Drew, of course, you've been on some football teams in the past. How important is it to have that example be set by the players instead of always just by the coaches?
Yeah, no, very important. I think of accountability. Accountability comes to mind. Making sure you're not cutting corners, maybe cheating on a drill or stuff like that. Seniors can set the tone in that respect. And to kind of flip it, when you have seniors that care and they're so bought in, like you do with this team, this Grapevine team, the juniors, sophomores on the team, the underclassmen, they want to perform and do what they can for those seniors to get them, give their all, and especially on senior night tonight.
Yeah, it's like domino effects, but in a good way.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and I think a great example of that was you go back to last week against the Colony, and where the Colony late in that fourth quarter had that game pretty well locked up. But you go back to within the last couple minutes, maybe even the last minute of that game, where you had that fourth down stop at the goal line from the Grapevine defense. And, of course, they could have just let that go, let the Colony score. Didn't matter. But instead, they come up with that big stop. And I think that tells you a lot of the culture and how these players are bought in.
Yeah, playing with pride, not wanting to give up anything easy. You got to respect it. Like you said, they could have just let them score. The game was a bit out of reach at that time, but really shows the kind of attitude that this senior group has. And to circle, I mean, this defense, making that stop last week, got plenty of seniors and juniors on here, but good amount of seniors, and it's just important to have that kind of accountability and play with pride. And yeah, you saw that last week with them having that fourth and goal stand.
Well, and then you mentioned about particular seniors. I like to comment about that linebacker crew as well. When we talked to Coach Smith at the beginning of the season, he said this linebacker group is one of the best in Texas. And you have high performers all the way across the board from Harrison Bargy, Tatum Evans, Luke Gormley, Cooper Tower. He's going to Harding. And Cooper Tower, he's such a talented athlete that the reason why he's going to Harding University is for his running back skills. Not even for the linebacker play that he's had throughout this year. I mean, he's a tremendous athlete. But you look at these players, and they really do set the tone for this defense. I look at a guy like Luke Gormley, who is playing the best football, I think, at this point of the season.
Yeah, to touch on Harding University is getting a football player in Cooper Towery. And to touch on Luke Gormley, yeah, absolutely balling out. 86 tackles on the year. Just an endless motor on that defensive side of the ball, and sets the tone. He's got an interception last week. Just a heck of an athlete. And then the other two, Harrison Bargy, Tatum Evans, two other seniors on this linebacker crew. They are the identity of this defense and the leaders. And then you have the secondary that just kind of flows with the D-line. The kind of young D-line, a few juniors on there. But, yeah, sets the tone, and we talked about it. But building a culture is so important in your first year. And Coach Ryan Smith has some seniors that wanted to be coached and wanted to be a part of this culture shift.
Well, and Coach Smith mentioned about it that Luke Gormley is a sideline-to-sideline type of player. And when you find a linebacker that can do that, that really does wonders for you on defense. And you mentioned about the interception that he had. He's actually had 2 interceptions in the last 2 games. You go back to the Burleson game 3 weeks ago. Of course, he had the bye. And then gets the other interception against the Colony last week. And remember, that was a play where the Colony tried to run that crazy trick play. Didn't work out with that formation they had. And they end up running it again. And Gormley just played that perfectly.
Yeah, veteran play. Can tell Luke Gormley hit the film room. Just kind of was prepared for any kind of look that they were going to get. And you talked about, how he can fly sideline to sideline. I mean, that's important for any position, but I think it's uber important to have that kind of play come from your inside linebacker. The captain or quarterback, if you will, of the defense is usually the inside linebacker. So when you got a guy that's running sideline to sideline like that, given all of his effort, it only is contagious to the rest of the defense. And as well as, we talk about his playmaking ability with interceptions. He's around the football.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why he's sideline to sideline is because he's running after the football and he's not giving up on plays. So
Yeah, you got to give him credit, tons of credit for that, and setting the tone for this defense.
Well, then you switch gears and you go over to the offensive side with some seniors that we want to highlight. Of course, starting quarterback Jalen Holmes, and then you have backup quarterback Ty Johnson that obviously has been in the mix there, flipping back and forth with Holmes to get some snaps in. And I look at someone like Holmes who, of course, last season was not what they wanted. I mean, obviously didn't win a game last year, had some trouble at establishing an offense that could put points on the board. But as far as buying into the system that Coach Smith has, getting the ball out quickly, changing things up, I'm sure Jalen Holmes looked forward to this season as far as being able to spread his wings a little bit because for the most part he did a lot of running last year and he still can offer that now, but I think he's grown throughout the season as far as being able to spread the ball around a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jalen Holmes was excited to get in an offense that, let him sling it a little bit. And, yeah, I think week-by-week basis we've seen him get more comfortable with the offense because the Grapevine offense runs a lot of run-pass options. So if you're going to be the captain of the offense or just run this kind of offense, you got to make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's and you make sure everything is accounted for and you put the offense in the best position, whether that be hand it off, fake the handoff, throw it to a couple pair of seniors here, Luke Stewart and Rylan Goen, who've had a great year. So, yeah, it's very important. And the thing I can say about these two senior quarterbacks, Ty Johnson, Jalen Holmes, is, two tough quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. They take, we talked about their running ability. Jalen Holmes running the football. Yeah, he takes hits during the game, gets right back up, and that kind of gives your offense some toughness. You think of the word toughness, and usually it goes with defense, in terms of football. But no, I think with this Grapevine offense, they showed a lot of toughness and grit throughout the season. And, yeah, just getting more and more comfortable week by week and, excited.
You bring up a great point about how both these quarterbacks have shown toughness throughout the year. I think the game I go back to is the Arlington-Seguin game. Jalen Holmes took a few hits during that game, especially there late in the fourth quarter, but just kept on getting back up. It's like a scene from Rocky.
Yeah.
And then you had Ty Johnson, who unfortunately got hurt in that game too, but you see him come back that following week to play again. I think that really sets the tone when you have those quarterbacks that are taking those hits and still want to come back and keep asking for more. And then you bring up about those wide receivers that are seniors, especially in Luke Stewart, and probably how excited he was as well about this offense. He's a guy that only had 15 catches all of last year, and he's already at 22 catches right now, and you got to think he's going to probably get a few more before the end of the season. And I think for someone like Rylan Goen, who was hurt back in spring ball, had the collarbone issue. He comes back right before the midnight scrimmage, and Coach Smith raves about this kid, how he has an FCS type of build with him. I mean, you talk about high praise, that says a lot.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. We've seen those two seniors on this receiver core make some plays throughout this season, and, we talked about toughness. Those are two tough kids right there, Rylan Goen and Luke Stewart. And yeah, they had to have been excited to get in this offense and be feeded the rock a little bit on the outside. They've made some big plays. We talked about that Seguin game. Those two were critical in the comeback and setting the offense up in a great position. I'd also say they still love to block, and that's what I really like to see, and that's a culture thing. You got to want to block. Of course you want to score touchdowns and make big chunk plays and nice flashy catches, but the dirty work is what needs to be done for a successful offense, and you got a couple seniors that lead this receiving crew in that on the outside. So, hats off to those two.
Well, and they got a lot of practice at blocking last year in the scheme that they ran, so transitioned pretty well into this year when they needed to do it. And then one other player I want to highlight too offensively before we get into this game eventually and highlight some more, but Jaime Sanchez, another senior at that running back position. We talk about Jake Graham and how well of a year he's playing just as a sophomore, but Jaime Sanchez, I think, has done a really good job knowing his role to complement a player like Jake Graham, but also catch a few passes out of the backfield. He's got 4 catches for 40 yards this year, and he's had some success throughout this year as well, breaking off some big plays.
Yeah, I expect a big night out of Jaime Sanchez tonight. He, like you said, he's played that role so well and been such a team player, complimenting Jake Graham. When Jake Graham went out, he came back right in, did his job, and like you said, he's ripped off a couple chunk plays, whether that be in the screen game or just changing up the pace of the running game and throwing Hami in there and allowing him to kind of put his foot in the ground and get on that second level. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, big night for Hami Sanchez, the senior running back, and, yeah, I know he's wanting to get in the pay dirt tonight.
Yeah, it should be a fun one here tonight with it being senior night here at Mustang Panther Stadium. We'll take a short break, and then when we come back from break, we'll give you some keys to the game and also the starting lineup for the Grapevine Mustangs as you are watching a special edition of Mustang Friday Night here on Thursday as you are watching on Tradio. Well, when it's senior night and the players are coming through the traditional way through the crowd and the stands, you keep the camera here, and I'm glad we are. So with showing the Mustang players walking through, seeing the family, seeing the friends, it definitely is an emotional look there. And Drew, you remember this walk from years ago when you did this. This is a pretty cool tradition.
Oh, it absolutely is. This was always a special moment for the football players, getting to kind of walk through the stands, get to see the supporters, your classmates, your family, people that want to come out and cheer on the Mustangs and kind of get you pumped up a bit getting on the field. And so, yeah, it's an awesome tradition. You see this a lot in, I know Wisconsin, I believe, they have some sort of similar thing, but it's just a cool tradition, and, yeah, it gets the players pumped up and ready to go.
Well, and they also have it in Clemson, too. You just got to make sure you don't trip over yourself when you're running down that hill.
That's right. Clemson is who I was thinking of, yep.
Yeah, as you got Dabu Sweeney leading the charge. But in this case here, Dabo Sweeney, there we go, yeah. And then we got Grapevine Mustangs that are entering down on the field and the sidelines. Crowd is amped up for this one here as, again, we mentioned about it earlier than expected. We have tonight's kickoff. Had this originally scheduled for Friday, but due to a prediction of some heavy thunderstorms that are coming through tomorrow, they figure, why don't we just play it safe? And pretty much a lot of the teams in the Metroplex are doing the same too. I mean, Carrollton Creekview versus West Mesquite, they were playing during the day when it was about 1 o'clock here in the afternoon. And what might be one of the biggest games, not only in the Metroplex, but in the state of Texas, is Prosper versus Allen, which originally was going to be for Friday night. They're scheduled for 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like I said, the Carrollton Creekview game was playing during the day today, where, of course, they got classes, and also Prosper versus Allen.
Yeah, it's not quite on a Saturday. Saturday at 1, big noon. But, yeah, what a cool moment for those players that get to kind of, just kind of anytime, anywhere, like we were talking about, but also, reap the benefit of getting to play in the middle of the day.
It's definitely a unique experience, especially here tonight with it being senior night, as Grapevine is getting the smoke ready around the tunnel as they're getting fired up to come out on the field.
This is cool. So you got the captains doing the coin toss, and then a line of seniors standing right behind them. That's very cool.
So we'll go ahead and give you an update here shortly on this coin toss as the captains for tonight, Cooper Towery, Rylan Goen, Luke Gormley, and also Tatum Evans.
moments, John Porter's going to come out there and run some camera and give you a little bit of a break. So,
and we get the coin toss. It looks like Grapevine has won the coin toss. And we'll see if they decide on if they want to receive now or wait to the second half. So Grapevine will receive to start tonight's festivities. So Drew, with it being senior night, a lot of emotion. But as you mentioned too, we still got a game to play, and you got to keep those emotions in check as well, but use them positively.
Yeah, not a bad start winning the coin toss. It's a night where, if you're Grapevine, you want everything to fall in line and be, work out and be a great game. So getting the ball first, we're going to get to see them, the offense, try to, look to get in a rhythm, and with that 2-minute offense style, or hurry up, if you will, it's going to be good.
Yeah, to your point, try to set that tone, and we'll see if Grapevine wants to mix it up there with their running backs and Jake Graham and Jaime Sanchez, really try to control the pace of the game here as Grapevine enters the field for senior night here at Mustang Panther Stadium. And with that, Drew, let's talk about those keys to the game that we mentioned about here a little bit in the pregame show, but also, too, let's elaborate a little bit more on those keys. That first one, we mentioned about Mansfield Timberview. They are an athletic squad. They like to get the ball out to the perimeter, get their players out in space, and score in bunches. I feel like tonight it's going to be very important to have some fundamental tackles.
Yeah, and when we say fundamental tackling, one of the key points, key takeaways, is play with leverage. That means, take the right angles, make sure you're not giving up the big play or keep contained. And when you're playing with leverage and you're keeping contained, it allows the rest of the defense to rally to the football. And when you're doing those two things, playing with leverage and rallying to the football, results in finishing plays and getting off the field on third down.
And we mentioned about pace for this Grapevine offense. We mentioned about how they have had success with having that hurry-up offense at times, but also, too, they're going to have to try to dictate this pace here, too, and have this defense kept off guard over there on the Wolves side.
Yeah, they're going to want to keep this defense of Timberview on their heels, and the way they can do that is being 2 plays ahead on offense, and we've seen their best rhythm, Grapevine's offense, best rhythm come in that 2-minute style of play. So, yeah, they'll be looking to get in that kind of mode and get in a rhythm early.
Real quick before we go down to the national anthem, the last point here is don't give up anything on special teams. The Wolves have already had 2 block punts this year, and with special teams, we've seen it already come back in a negative way, in a positive way. What do you see how it plays out here tonight?
Yeah, well, special teams is third of the game, so not specifically, those big kickoff returns. Obviously, you want to stop that, but field position battle. You want to pin them back, and then when you're returning, get a good return, put the offense in good position.
And we'll go ahead and send you out the national anthem. And hello, everyone. We welcome you to Mustang Panther Stadium as I am with former Grapevine wide receiver Drew Doherty, and I'm Mason Doherty, here to broadcast tonight's matchup between Grapevine and Mansfield Timberview, a matchup of a District 3 5A Division II foes, where Mansfield Timberview is actually sitting in third place in the playoffs. Grapevine still looking for that first district win. They will have their offense on the field to try to set the tone. And, Drew, what can we maybe expect from Jalen Holmes tonight as well?
You know, he's going to leave it all out there, I believe, both these senior quarterbacks. You're going to expect them to want to make big plays on senior night, and no better time to get that first district win than on senior night. So, yeah, look for some big plays, and I think the main message here is go there, have fun. You know, really, that's a cliche, but on a night like this, go out there, have fun, and when you have that mindset, you play loose, and you got some big plays ahead of you.
Well, it's got to be feeling pretty good down there on the sidelines. Our temperature tonight is going to be probably mostly cloudy, along with it being 77 degrees right now. Wind gust of about 19 miles per hour. And our forecast does not have any rain in sight for the rest of the night, which will probably be very unlike tomorrow, which is, again, the reason why we are having our game here tonight. Want to let you all know that our first quarter is brought to you by Stacy Furniture. And, again, our title sponsor tonight is Grubbs Family of Dealerships. So between these two teams, it's actually their second time overall to be playing against each other. Mansfield Timberview last year won 55-10. They had a really strong defense last year and have some returners from that squad this year as well. And with that, we are underway with Thursday night football here in Grapevine. And Luke Stewart gets us kicked off here as he will get dropped at the 30-yard line. That's where Grapevine will take over to start tonight's game. So the starting lineup for Grapevine's offense: at quarterback, Jalen Holmes, and then at running back, the 5'8", 180-pound sophomore Jake Graham, along with the wide receivers, Brody Hunter, Rylan Goen, Luke Stewart, and at tight end / the staying position, Brady Kays. Offensive linemen go like this from left to right: Jackson Rakisha, Andres Garcia-Cano, center Will Mason, at right guard Hunter Lux, and at right tackle Taylor Sneed. So it's Cooper Towery that starts us off here in the Wildcat formation on that right side along Tayton Sneed, but the Wolves are ready for it, so maybe about a gain of 1.
Yeah, getting that Wildcat offense right off the bat. Here comes Jalen Holmes coming in on the offense.
Yeah, I bet we will probably see that a little bit more tonight. And when we talked to Coach Smith in the pregame interview, he mentioned they were predicting to get Cooper Towery more involved in the offense as the season grew older. I mean, he's the type of player, he plays so relentlessly. I mean, it's tough to have him playing both sides to start a season and have him do that throughout the entire year. So it's Luke Stewart in motion. And it's a handoff to Graham up the middle, and he's able to break through for a few. It'll bring up what looks to be 3rd and 4.
Yeah, got a manageable third down here. Look for, we talked about it pregame, the RPO action. Look for a little maybe fake handoff, throw it, maybe get those linebackers to kind of come in on the line of scrimmage, throw it right behind them. Quick play. Or a free one.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a free play for Grapevine. They want to go deep with it, and it's in and out of the hands of the defender. The intended receiver was Luke Stewart. In coverage was Garcia Martin. And so I would imagine this would be 5 yards in favor of Grapevine here. We'll get the call.
Yeah, veteran play by the senior Jalen Holmes. Got the hard count going. Interview jumped. Free play.
So 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Ball at the 41-yard line. It's Holmes. Sits, now wants to take it up the middle, and is able to pick up about 8. So we've seen that throughout the year. Holmes is not afraid to run the ball. I mean, of course, you saw that a lot last year. He coming into tonight's game, he's got 54 carries for 169 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, not afraid to run it right up the gut. Nice gain on first down.
So he's got Jake Graham to his right. Receivers are bunched up on both sides. As we approach 10 minutes left in our first quarter, brought to you by Stacy Furniture. And it's over to Graham, the swing out route, and he is chased down from behind. Tackled by Rayshawn Williams, a JV player from last year who now has 43 tackles this season.
Yeah, a heck of a play there by Rayshawn Williams, able to shed the block and make not even, I think, just maybe a tackle for loss or a minimal gain there. It was a swing route, but able to limit the damage there.
So 3rd and 2 upcoming. As Grapevine's got 2 running backs there in the backfield, Jaime Sanchez and Jake Graham. So bringing the muscle possibly here on this play. We got Jalon Lewis that's in motion now on that left side. And it's Graham that takes it over to the right, and I think he's going to be short. Runs into a wall of Wolves on that right side of the offensive line.
Middle of the field here. It's going to be interesting what Grapevine offense decides to do. Looks like they're keeping him on at the time, but looks like they're going to get the punting team out there.
They must have heard you start talking.
I know. Middle of the field, I thought maybe, but going to play the field position as we talked about pregame.
Well, hey, listen, we've seen a lot of fake punts throughout the season. Not so much for Grapevine, but against Grapevine. It is Holmes that lines up to punt this one away. See if they stay true here. And they do. It's a nice punt. And it's going to get a friendly roll for Grapevine, as it will be down at the 12-yard line, and that is where the Wolves will start their first offensive drive of the night.
Yeah, heck of a punt there by Jalen Holmes, pinning him back behind the 15-yard line. And, yeah, we talked about it. Special teams is 3rd of the game, so if you're going to punt it, you want to make sure you get off a good one and set up your defense in a good position.
Yeah, that's Holmes' 3rd punt that he's fielded inside the 20 this season. For the defense, the defensive line for Grapevine starts like this. Lucas Manderville along with Cedric Hicks and Jake Cochran. The linebackers, we talked about them plenty in the pregame show. Harrison Bargy, Tatum Evans, Luke Gormley, Cooper Towery. And for the secondary, it's Dalen Collins, Maddox Broyles, Jalen Carson, and Linnell Randolph. And at quarterback for the Wolves is Stephen Hall, and Stephen Hall almost threw that to a red jersey instead.
Yeah, veteran play there by Harrison Bargy. Kind of reading the offense there and was able to back up and just get in that play enough, kind of interfere with the timing there just enough for incompletion. Almost got a pick.
He almost did. It looked like he was going to rush off that edge, and to your point, Drew recognized that it was going to be a little screen pass there and then played back and then almost comes away with the interception. So 2nd and 10 now. Oh, it's actually Hall that has a little trouble with the snapping, and he's able to get it off to his receiver, who is going to be brought down after 11-yard gain, good for a first down.
Yeah, nice job by Stephen Hall. Kind of fumbled the snap at first, but was able to find his receiver on the outside and move the chains. Heck of a play.
Yeah, that was Tristan Shaw with the catch. We're going to probably see a lot of him tonight, a UCLA commit, and only a junior too. And then for the Wolves, they get off a slant catch over at about the 45-yard line. Again, it's Tristan Shaw with another first down conversion.
Yeah, nice play. Chunk yards back-to-back. Kind of put the pressure on Grapevine defense here a little bit.
Yeah, and that hurry-up offense. Hall pressured and throws it away. And I'm going to be curious if they try to say that he was throwing to an intended receiver at that point. I don't see a discussion right now.
I think they're going to get Taylor Hansen there as the eligible receiver, number 24. Just within that kind of, you see it all the time. It's kind of, a judgment call on whether it truly was an intended receiver, but they'll give him that time.
Sometimes when the receiver's in the same zip code as the pass, they'll let it go. So 2nd and 10 for the Wolves. Carry on that left side, and Grapevine was ready for it. It was Cooper Towery that was first able to get his paws on the running back.
Yeah, nice play there by Cooper Towery, setting the edge, making the running back funnel back inside. Just kind of get this defense going a little bit after a couple chunk plays and set this offense up with a third down and 10.
Yeah, it was Jacoby Easter on the carry. So let's see what Grapevine wants to do here if they want to get aggressive and blitz. Right now they don't show it. Luke Gormley does come to pressure, and Hall wants to go deep, and he throws where there's about 3 Mustangs, but he overthrew his intended receiver, Tristan Shaw.
Yeah, Tristan Shaw looked like he had a step on those 3 Grapevine defenders there, but just a little bit overthrown. Could have been a 3 ball there, 3 seconds in the air, but it was more of a 2 ball. Kind of overthrown, a little bit too much mustard on it.
Yeah, Shaw comes into tonight's matchup 7 carries for 60 yards, averaging about 9 yards a catch and 1 touchdown. But UCLA definitely sees the speed that he possesses. So Grapevine almost gets off a block punt here, and Luke Stewart fields it cleanly, and so then Grapevine will get the ball at about the 32-yard line.
Yeah, nice job fielding that one cleanly. And good job not roughing the punter there, because like you said, almost a block, but you want to make sure if you don't get the block, make sure you don't contact that punter.
So for Grapevine on their first drive, it was 7 plays, but ended up in a punt. And they get the ball basically at the same spot they did on their first drive, and Luke Stewart returned the ball on the kickoff. It's Ray Ming Zhao in motion on that right side. And it's a little pitch play out to Chase Carter. And again, the Wolves defense, it is athletic. They were ready for that play as well.
Yeah, absolutely sniffed out on the defensive side. This Grapevine offense, the last drive, there were some, some good positive plays, but I really want to mention the 2-minute offense. The players are getting lined up correctly and getting the play call from the sideline really quickly.
Speaking of that play call, right now is at our play clock right now is at about 17 seconds, and so Grapevine looked like they were going to try to get a playoff pretty quickly, but now Holmes decides to relax a bit. He's by himself, and he's got a full house of Wolves coming at him, and he's going to try to escape from danger, and he's not going to be able to do it. Sacked in the backfield as Rayshawn Williams picks up his first sack of the season.
Yeah, this defensive front for Timberview is causing a little bit of issues there. Kind of getting behind the line of scrimmage quickly and causing Jalen Holmes to try and tuck it in a run and get what he can. But yeah, not enough time back there in the pocket. Setting up a 3rd and long here.
It almost looked like a 0 blitz.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was hat on the outside.
So let's see if Grapevine wants to get aggressive here. I mean, Holmes, his nearest receiver to him is Brady Kays on that right side. So Holmes flushed out to the right, has a receiver, but lost his footing. Luke Stewart, and Grapevine will get ready to punt this one away.
Yeah, this Gray Mark Insurance is to replay. Good play design, just the turf monster. Got Luke Stewart a bit there. Nice catch, nice throw. Luke Stewart had the kind of the plan there to cut back inside. Just slipped. We're going to need a good punt here from Jalen Holmes.
And there's Juju Smith in coverage in the secondary. Holmes is averaging about 29 yards a punt this season. And a nice punt on that last one, fielding it inside the 20. And it was a nice booming punt that was fielded about the 25-yard line. See if Grapevine's punt coverage is going to be able to keep this return from going any further. They do. It stopped at about the 40-yard line. That's where the Wolves offense will take over.
Yeah, punt team rallying to the football, making sure, good, pretty decent return there for Timberview, but nice job by, just keeping the returner in front of you and rallying to the football. And that's what you want to see on this defensive side. And that's what we've been getting a good taste of it a little bit here in the first couple drives. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, this is a Grapevine defense that is letting up an average of 31 points per game. And right now, they've forced the Wolves into a punt on their last drive. They did have a couple first down conversions in Tristan Shaw. And over there on the perimeter, it almost actually was picked off because Cooper Towery almost just literally takes the ball out of Braylon Barnett's hands.
Yep. Couldn't quite come down with it, but nice job just running to the football. If that receiver screen, it's got to be so well timed up to work. Just the Grapevine deep Cooper Towery running over you see that as a receiver in the corner of your eye, and that could kind of mess up timing and kind of lose some concentration.
Well, I bet it's not a good feeling when you got Cooper Towery screaming down to come make a play on you. So it's a carry up the middle, and an excellent play made there in the interior part of the defense. Looks like that came in from the secondary position. Making that play was Brody Henderson, the senior.
Yeah, nice play by Brody Henderson, sticking the ball carrier and
came screaming down.
Oh, yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see players running downhill.
3rd and 6 for the Wolves. See if they go back to Tristan Shaw. Oh, and another issue with the snap, but Hall's able to gather it, and I think that forced the entire play to go south there, trying to find a receiver over there on the flats and overshot him. That receiver was Jacoby Easter. We've seen him a couple times right now, but that play was pretty much shot from the beginning, and Cedric Hicks almost even made a play there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely threw off the couple bad snaps or a couple ill-timed snaps, kind of throw off this Timberview offense a bit. But good job by the Grapevine defense. Playing aggressive. When you're playing aggressive, you force some unforced errors, if you will.
And there's a punt, a fake punt by the Wolves, and I think he's going to be short. And he is. It's Luke Heck that comes in and makes the smacking tackle right before the sticks. What a physical play there by Luke Heck. We've seen that all year from him.
Yeah, heck of a play. Sticking them right at the line to gain. You really got to bring some pop if you're going to, get the ball carrier to stop in his tracks like that, leaving him 1 yard short of the first down. Heck of a job not allowing them to get fooled.
Luke Hecht, who comes from a pretty physical family. His older brother was pretty relentless when he played football, and also his younger brother, who's in the system right now, same exact way. So Cooper Towery on that right side tries to get around the corner, gets tackled maybe for a 1 yard gain, but for Grapevine so far tonight, been able to, I think, surprise the Wolves a little bit.
Yeah, I think so far, it's 0-0, 0-0 on the scoreboard, but so far Grapevine has won the field position battle in terms of special teams, keeping Timberview on their half of the field, and Grapevine just kind of at the 50-yard line, ready to get into enemy territory.
So it's Holmes with Jake Graham in the backfield on the 2nd and 9. Let's see if they want to go to Brody Hunters by himself on the left side. And no, instead they try to go to Chase Carter, and it looked like the play design was have everyone flush one way and then have Carter go the other, just weren't able to connect.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a miscommunication there. Looked like maybe Rylan Goen was blocking a bit downfield, didn't have his head turned around. They're going to be looking to kind of get in a rhythm here. Another 3rd and kind of long, 3rd and 9. I think personally, being at the 50-yard line, it's 4-down territory. That's just me. So let's see if maybe they draw up a couple. We talk about tempo, getting one play in and then following up with the 4th down conversion.
Well, you just got to be careful with this Wolves defense. They already have 13 sacks this year, including one here tonight. And it looks like it's going to be false start on the Mustangs. And, Drew, you just mentioned about it. You're trying to make this into possibly 4-down territory. And we just talked about avoiding the sack, but also, too, you got to avoid the penalty, too.
Yeah, it's just as good as a sack. False start on the offense there, backing them up, making it a 3rd and about 14 now. You're going to still want to execute a good play here and obviously get the first down. If you put yourself in a position short enough, go for it. Same motion there.
So it's a carry up the middle, and the Wolves are just not allowing Grapevine to really establish a running game at all. I mean, this is a tough assignment for this, we talk about senior night, a young offensive line full of 4 juniors and 1 sophomore in Hunter Lux.
Yeah, they're going to have to rely on those 4 juniors and 1 sophomore in this offensive line tonight. Kind of get some push. So far, not really what you want the defensive line. Timberview's able to kind of get that initial push and get behind the line of scrimmage. Timberview, I think they'll take a run play like that on 3rd and long all night. So see if they
especially
keep that up.
Especially after their failed fake punt attempt. Now Holmes, who had a nice punt the last time he was in this position, his first one that he had tonight. This one is going to be fielded by the referee at the 35-yard line. So for the Wolves, they really come away with a break here, again, after that failed attempt on the fake punt.
Yeah, the defense is doing a good job keeping the Grapevine offense in check, 3 and outs. And then, just getting decent field position now for Timberview, kind of where they ended the drive. They ended it on the 50, but were able to get some yards. So Grapevine defense is going to want to continue to play aggressive and cause some havoc.
1:51 left in the first quarter. First quarter brought to you by Stacy Furniture. And it's a completed pass by the Wolves. It might be coming back, though, as the ball is brought down to the 30-yard line. Now, was Taylor Hansen on the catch, but again, this might be coming back.
Yeah, it looks like Dayan Hill was holding Brody Henderson there on the outside on this little receiver screen or halfback screen.
Yeah. Yeah, so far tonight, Henderson's been, and if you think about it, been able to make a couple plays here. That first one where he's able to stop the ball carrier on that rushing play. And in this case here, with his aggressiveness, able to create a holding.
Yeah, playing with some physicality out there. Kind of something that this secondary has been about. We saw it a lot with, the Colony, making some pass breakups on a talented receiving core. But, yeah, heck of a job bringing the physicality to start this first half.
Brody Henderson, a 6'1", 190-pound senior. Coming into tonight's game, only 2 tackles. Does have a sack, though. A transfer from Fort Worth Christian. And it's a delayed handoff, and Grapevine was just waiting for it. Cedric Hicks in on the stop. We talk about how athletic Cedric Hicks is. A lacrosse player, very quick. And for offensive lineman, he's got that first step that it makes it really hard for you to stay in front of him.
Yeah, an absolute stud on that D-line. Like you said, super athletic, able to get that initial push on that D-line, get behind the line of scrimmage.
And now it's 2nd and 15 for the Wolves, and incomplete. Looks like it was going to be possibly a toe tap catch there on the sidelines. And that was Kobe Gooden who attempted that catch, the 6'2", 180-pound senior. Comes into tonight's game, 9 receptions for 101 yards, averaging 11 yards a catch.
Both these offenses kind of have the 3rd and long bug right now. Timberview, I'd say, on their offense side, just not quite synced up. You got the holding call, kind of the fumbled snaps, and then the misconnection there on the outside.
Yeah, it might be just playing on a Thursday night when you're expecting to be playing on a Friday night. But anyways, Grapevine brings the house and causes pressure, and that ball goes sailing out of bounds. Again, you're almost thinking like maybe there was going to be intentional grounding here, but Grapevine is able to get off the field. Tatum Steen and Cedric Hicks in on the play.
Yeah, I think Stephen Hall may have spun himself outside of the tackle box, but he spun himself right into a big hit there. And another good job by that Grapevine defense. But, yeah, Stephen Hall took a lick there. Good job by getting the ball out, just keeping it at where the ball was at.
And so for Grapevine, looks like they're going to probably get good field position with the way that this punt is looking. At about the 41-yard line is where they'll start this next drive. But, yeah, we talk about Cooper Towery all the time, playing both ways. But Tatum Sneed, you think about him, he is forced to fumble earlier this season against Birdville, and he plays obviously on the offensive line as well, starting on that right side. there's a lot of athleticism and stamina that you have to have for playing the trenches on both sides.
Yeah, you got to have stamina, but you also got to be a dog. You got to have some dog in you. You got to want to be out there and want to make plays and be physical. And, yeah, absolutely, Taylor Snead brings that.
Well, Coach Smith always says that he just wants football players. He doesn't want guys that only just play one position. He wants guys that are pretty diverse. And it is a catch for maybe about a yard as Ming Zhao with the reception. And for Zhao, that is his 21st catch of the season.
Yeah, you want football players first, and then you can go from there. You can plug and play. But, yeah, it doesn't hurt to have guys that you could just throw in anywhere on the field and expect them to make plays and give full effort.
What do they call that position? ATH, as far as recruits go when you're going to college.
Yeah, I like Stang. I like what Coach Smith is doing with the Stang position as well.
Yeah, Brady Kays, Jaylon Lewis. And so that will take us to the end of the first quarter. Our first quarter was brought to you by Stacy Furniture, with our score 0-0 here at Mustang Panther Stadium, as you are watching a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
One location, 4 amazing brands. Grubb's family of dealerships. Located on Highway 114, 25 acres of luxury car shopping. After 75 years of serving the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro, we invite you to shop Grubb's Acura, Infiniti, Polestar, and Volvo, all in Grapevine. Our service departments are fully staffed and ready to help with walk-ins or appointments. Start with the best, skip the rest at Grubb's family of dealerships.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
And we bring you to the second quarter brought to you by Compass Church. And it's Jalen Holmes on that right side, runs into a brick of a football player. And to go Fortum, the 5'10", 195-pound junior, it looks a little bit bigger than 5'10" from what we can see down here. He is packing a lot of size in the interior part of that defensive line.
Yeah, causing some havoc there for this whole line here. Yeah, Jalen Holmes kind of took a little awkward hit there, kind of table-topped accidentally over a defender there. He had the option to hand it off there, decided to take it. But I'd say this Grapevine offense is doing a good job of getting lined up. Looking at the sideline here, you'll see there, looking at the sideline, getting the play in. Well, it all starts with lining up.
It does. Play clock's out actually 1 second. I don't know if they reset that play clock. And Holmes on the left side pressured and finds a receiver. It's going to be close. That was Brody Hunter with the reception, his 8th catch of the season. And they're going to say it's going to be 4th and 1. And Grapevine, in this case, looks like they're going to be going for it.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play there by Jalen Holmes, getting the ball out to his guy Brody Hunter on the outside. Deep pass. Yeah, heck of a play. Looks like they're going to go for it on this 4th and short.
Yeah, and Cedric Hicks is subbed in as well, the starting nose guard for the Mustangs. See, they run to his side there on that left side of the offensive line. Cooper Towery. No, it's actually a run up the middle by Luke Gormley, and we've seen that plenty of times when it comes to two-point conversion tries. Here tonight, we see it on a 4th down try that's successful.
Yeah, it's a gotta have it. That's in their that formation, that play call is in their gotta have it folder. Whether it's a 4th down, 2-point conversion. We had a package similar called Bulldozer. You know, you get your 2 linebackers, your 2 physical defensive players in there to just get that 1 yard. And, yeah, heck of a job there by Luke Gormley.
Yeah, Luke Gormley, who's been so successful. I mean, not only as obviously a linebacker, but also, too, taking the direct snaps and running up the middle. So 1st and 10. We've seen a lot of this so far tonight, Drew. Holmes a lot by himself. And we'll see if that continues throughout the game.
Yeah, you gotta like what you saw out of that last pass to Brody Hunter.
And so it's actually Towery that is swung out there trying to get around the corner. And, again, this defense very quick, only for about a yard for Cooper Towery.
Yeah, Timberview defense does a good job of setting the edge, not allowing Cooper Towery to get outside. Cooper Towery realizes that, it's either the sideline or, get tackled right there on the edge, so he tries to cut it back up for a minimal gain. Good job by Timberview defense.
We talked to head coach Jacoby Coleman, the head coach for the Timberview Wolves, and he mentioned he's feeling pretty confident about his 6 to 7 man rotation at that defensive line position.
Yeah, and a physical bunch on the outside in the secondary. Pass breakups, tackles, all over the field.
So it's a carry on that right side, and it's Jake Graham, who is no easy guy to bring down, and probably gets the best carry that he's had so far tonight for a gain of 6.
Yeah, good job by the side judge there, kind of calling that forward progress. That was, gotta give some love to the refs every now and then. That was a good job by, picking off where that forward progress ended and lining up, getting the ball spotted there. Jake Graham showing off those strong legs, keeping him off the ground.
So 3rd and 3, play clock down to 12. So far we've seen tonight where Coach Smith wants to look like he wants to line up and get the play in quickly, and then I guess at this point probably analyze the defense a little bit.
Yeah, no, and you got to get the formation right first, so they're reading that first and getting the play call second.
And it's Graham on that left side, and he's got nowhere to run. The Wolves defense was ready for it. Rayshawn Williams, we've called his name a few times tonight, was right there to wrap up Graham.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of force a 4th and medium here on this Grapevine. It looks like they're going to want to talk about it.
Yeah, Timberview was saying they had a fumble recovery, but in this case it looks like the Wolves will call a timeout instead. And so that's going to bring up 4th and 7. And so far tonight we've seen Grapevine go for it once. They converted, but that was a 4th and 1 play. And the other times that it looked like they were possibly going to go for it, they end up punting. It sounds like Coach Smith, for the most part here tonight, wants to play the field position battle.
Yeah, well, and something else interesting to note here during this timeout is you see everybody from the Grapevine sideline is in this huddle. And the reason behind that is so the sideline over there at Timberview is not seeing, okay, what kind of personnel do they have? Do they have is the coach just huddled up with the special teams? Are they huddled up with the offense? So having everybody come from that sideline just kind of gives smoke signals or just doesn't show you what you're about to do, because you see the Timberview sidelines just has their defense huddled up. So interesting tactic there. We see that a lot, keeping the other team guessing.
Well, it's 4th and 6, and the biggest reception we've seen from Grapevine tonight was that 14-yard catch by Brody Hunter that made it a 4th and 1. And again, as we mentioned earlier, was converted by Luke Gormley. But Grapevine is really talking this one over, as it looks like the Wolves are ready to go back on the field. But to your point, Drew, they can't tell who's coming out there, so far their personnel has to stay on the sidelines too.
Yeah, right. They're not quite sure what Grapevine's going to roll out here. I don't know. It's kind of a long time. Is it a double timeout? Kind of a long one here.
Yeah, no kidding here. I mean, you would think that they thought we were on some TV ads, but here we are ready to rock and roll. Also want to remind you all that our second quarter is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet tonight. Our title sponsor, Groves Family Dealerships, on a nice and cool and breezy Thursday night, a dry Thursday night, as it will probably not be that way tomorrow.
Look at all these people. The Grapevine, look at that.
Here we go.
A little bit of a scramble there.
Hurrying up to the line. And the Wolves look like they're ready for it, as they are ready to return this punt, as Holmes is in the punter position.
I was just saying, that looks like more than 11 there. No, I like it. Have some fun out there, mix it up.
A little scare tactic maybe.
Yep.
And so Holmes does get this one away. And what a beautiful punt by Holmes. Now his second time tonight fielding the ball inside the 20, with his best punt probably of the season, fielded at the 5.
Yeah, nice little pitching wedge shot right there, putting him, sticking the Timberview offense inside the 5, I believe. Yep. Nice job. Hey, we talked about it pregame, third of the game, special teams, field position battle. This is, hey, it can be a slow burn, but it's the little things like this, backing them up, getting good punts off, playing good field position, and maybe you can get this defense. They've been playing aggressive, they've been playing physical as well. Maybe get a takeaway here, flip the field.
Well, you have to think that Grapevine's going to be pinning their ears back to try to make a play. Down at the 5. Quarterback Stephen Hall lined up in the end zone. And he's actually going to go ahead and throw the ball, and it's in and out of the hands of Tristan Shaw, as obviously Shaw has been his number one target so far tonight. And gutsy call here, trying to throw the ball when you're at your own 5.
Well, I think Grapevine defense caught a break there. Like we said, playing with, pinning their ears back. The outside linebacker there kind of ran up, let that slant behind him.
And they want to go deep again, and over the shoulder catch that falls incomplete. That was Braylon Barnett, their lead receiver at 45 catches, 678 yards, averaging 15 yards a catch, along with 7 touchdowns. Cannot connect.
Yeah, the senior Harrison Bargy there putting the pressure on the quarterback. Stephen Hall kind of forcing an errant throw there, not giving his receiver a shot, but tough when you have Harrison Bargy screaming down at you.
And it was Judah Johnson that was in on coverage, and we see him play some pretty excellent ball. I know he had that one pass that he probably liked to get back from last week against the Colony, but it was just a beautiful pass. But overall, though, he's been playing some really nice football.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistent. That's what you want out of your secondary.
3rd and 10. Pressure coming. Again, going deep. And overshooting his man again, Judah Johnson in coverage. 4th down, Wolves.
Yeah, Judah Johnson step for step with his guy. Good defense there. Not allowing much of a window to get that ball completed. And then complimentary football. You got the D-line causing some havoc there. Heck of a job.
Yeah, Judah Johnson, you can tell that there's a reason why he was offered by Friends University here a couple weeks ago. Right on the hip of his receiver. And, it also helps when you play with that sideline right next to you, too.
Yeah, and that end zone behind you.
So they get the punt off, and Luke Stewart's going to have a little bit of room here to return the punt down inside the 20. So Grapevine, for the second time tonight, their starting drive starts on the other side of the field.
Yeah, they're going to start in the red zone here. Heck of a play. It starts with the special teams there, flipping the field, and nice decision there by Luke Stewart to take that out. You'll see it on this gray market shirt. It's the replay. Catches it about on the 30-yard line and able to just catch it and get moving upfield. When you're in this part of the field, any 1 yard, 2 yards, doesn't matter. It all adds up here and allows them to get just inside the red zone for a scoring opportunity.
That will definitely bump up his return average. It was at 1 yard leading into tonight's game, usually fair catching the ball when he's fielding the punts. It's Ty Johnson now at the quarterback position with Jake Graham trying to generate something in the running game, but the Wolves have other ideas. It was Chapo Chavez, their star middle linebacker at 5'6", 680 pounds, the senior, leading the squad with 92 tackles, making the play.
Yeah, heck of a play there. No easy task stopping Jake Graham running downhill, but he was able to stick him right at the line of scrimmage. Minimal gain.
So 2nd and 10. Johnson along with Jake Graham. And again, we're seeing it over and over again. Lining up quickly and then analyzing what they have in front of them. And it's Graham who is, actually it's going to be Ty Johnson instead, but it doesn't matter. The Wolves are ready for both offensive players. Rayshawn Williams, who is having himself a night, getting another tackle for loss, now puts him at about 5 for the season, making another play.
Yeah, everybody on their assignment on that play. Ball carrier, quarterback. Nice job.
So there is an injury on the field, and we'll go ahead and we'll take a short break here with 7:04 left in the second quarter. Our score, 0-0 from Mustang Panther Stadium. You're watching a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new, beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family,
and you're not burning money.
And we bring you back to a 3rd and 13. That was J.P. Sonor, number 99, the nose guard for the Wolves that was able to walk off on his own power. It's Jake Graham in motion. Johnson wants to actually could throw over there to Jake Graham, and there's no one in front of him. And Grapevine will score the opening points of tonight's ball game. Ty Johnson sat comfortably in the pocket and was able to find Jake Graham on that left side for Graham's first receiving touchdown of the season.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play there by both Ty Johnson getting that ball there and also finding him, being comfortable in the pocket, scanning down the field, looking over and finding Jake Graham.
And that extra point is up and made by Austin Schilling. And Grapevine up 7-0 with 6:44 left in the second quarter. We'll take a short break and bring you more coverage here as you're watching a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
We're going to get another chance to look at that play by the Gray Mark Insurance replay. Ty Johnson able to sit in the pocket, find his wide open running back on the flat, Jake Graham, with a whole bunch of room ahead of him and the pay dirt. Yeah, heck of a job by the Grapevine offense. Getting the first points on the board, that was a big goal for this offense going into this game. So, yeah, heck of a job by the defense, special teams, and then the offense answering. That's called complementary football.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what? Yeah, Grapevine highlights are a lot better in this case than going to a commercial break. But that was an excellent play there made by Ty Johnson over to Jake Graham on that 22-yard catch. A drive that started on the Wolves' 19-yard line, and you would have thought, okay, where was the turnover? No, Grapevine was able just to get a good punt return. And speaking of special teams, a little bit of a pooch kick by Grapevine. And then there's a fumble. And let's see if the ball went out of bounds. And it looks like it did. Grapevine is throwing their hands as if they did recover it, but I think the refs are going to say that ball did fall out of bounds. Special teams so far here tonight, Drew.
Yeah, heck of a play there, getting that ball. They're pointing. They're wanting them to think about this for a little bit. Like you said, they're pointing. Let's take a look at here. Look at this effort here, stripping the ball out there. Definitely out. Let's just determine whether the ball went out of sight. That was Linnell Randolph there on the strip. Made that ball pop up in the air. Maybe a little too much air under it, which caused it to go out of bounds. You see that little hacky sack there, that little black little hacky sack. That's going to tell the ref where the ball landed out of bounds. Looks like they're going to keep it Timberview's ball.
Linnell Randolph, who had his best kickoff return of the season last week, coming up with the forced fumble on special teams here tonight. And Grapevine up for the task on this running play, as that will go for no gain.
Yeah, playing with some fire now. You got almost a turnover there on the punt, or on the kickoff, I should say. Yeah, playing with some juice, and you got to love to see that. When the offense goes out there and does something like that, fuels up the sideline, gets the defense. Defense had plenty of time to get a breather. So, yeah, they're flying around.
Well, it seems like tonight Grapevine's just playing with some house money. Coach Smith has always talked about playing focused but playing loose, and you're seeing a good balance of that so far here tonight. 2nd and 10. Hall finds, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Braylon Barnett. Right now, that passing game for the Wolves, other than those couple of first down conversions to Tristan Shaw, has just not been working.
Yeah, no, the aggressiveness by the Grapevine defense, he had them there. Stephen Hull had his receiver, but you know what? Good job by Cooper Towery out there on the outside, and Luke Hecht kind of just bringing that presence there, and maybe heard some footsteps there, and kind of looked upfield before reeling it in.
So now it brings up 3rd and 10. Grapevine playing with a lot of physicality tonight. Looks like they're bringing the house. Now they go ahead and take off the foot pedal. And it's a carry on that left side. And Grapevine, oh my gosh, Brody Henderson coming and laying in that boom at the very end. I mean, you want to talk about smash mouth football. Right now, Grapevine is bringing it.
They're playing with this defense, playing with some juice. We talked about it pregame. It's a cliche when you say, hey, go out there and have some fun. But that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a team that's having some fun out there, making some plays and flying around. Brody Henderson with a couple big sticks tonight.
Tatum Evans also in on the play too, who received an offer from Trinity University a couple weeks ago. And the Wolves will go for it on 4th and 7. It's Hall. Wants to go deep again. And it's in and out of the hands. It looks like there was actually a shot at receiving that ball. It was Brandon Barnett. Judah Johnson in on the coverage. And again, Grapevine is able to make another stand.
Yeah, how about Judah Johnson? They keep targeting him on the outside, but heck of a job just staying composed and running step for step. We've seen it a couple times tonight. Heck of defensive play. When you're running step for step like that with your receiver, the guy you're guarding, just leaves a limited window for that ball to float in. See, right on his hip, and the ball drops in. But, the receiver, he's too busy. Braylon Barnett is too busy kind of getting that separation, hand fighting a little bit.
And I feel like we've seen the same probably 4 or 5 plays from the Wolves offense so far, as you see Cooper Towery doing his best to produce as much yardage on that play as possible. And we talked to Coach Smith this week, and he mentioned how this is a team that just plays it pretty simple. They got a few plays that they master. They know that they can get some successful yardage off them, but right now, Grapevine comes prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. They're playing with some juice, like we said, and the Grapevine defense is able to get back on the sideline, get an extra breather in, and hopefully, they're hoping Grapevine moves the chains a little bit. But yeah, heck of a job. I see Judah Johnson getting some love there on the sideline from his guys.
So it's Holmes that's at quarterback right now. He came into tonight's game 80 of 143 for a 56% conversion rate on his passes. Carry on that right side, able to get around the corner. It's Cooper Towery, and he doesn't want to go out of bounds. He wants a body to run over as he picks up the first at the 35-yard line. We're good for a Pat White first down for the Mustangs.
Yeah, we mentioned Cooper Towery's going to want to empty the tank on senior night. Heck of a play. We were talking about the Grapevine defense getting a breather, staying off the field. Well, on the other side, you got the Grapevine offense coming back on the field, and Timberview defense not getting much of a breather there.
No, good for about a 27-yard gain for Cooper Towery. And now Holmes wants to go deep, and it's going to be over the head of Brody Hunter. But again, Grapevine not afraid to let it rip right now. It's been something they've been working on these last few weeks about hitting that third level, hitting the big plays. And right now, Grapevine is taking their shot.
Yeah, you got to like what you're seeing, being aggressive. You got to wonder if Jalen Holmes maybe thought there was a free play there. It looked like the left end may have jumped, but maybe held his water just behind the line of scrimmage. But nevertheless, it's good to see, slinging the ball out. And having a gas defense like this is where those big plays come from.
2nd and 10 for the Mustangs. It's Towery on the left, goes upfield. Able to pick up what looks to be a first down on an 11-yard gain. Cooper Towery, who is already over 200 yards rushing this season with over 30 carries, averaging about 7 yards a pop.
Yeah, and he didn't have many more people to beat. It was kind of you could say maybe a touchdown saving tackle. Just able to, good job by the O-line here, pulling, opening that gap. Look at that. Running right off the O-lineman's end there. Yeah, nice play.
So now Grapevine, again, lines up quickly, but decides to look at what they have in front of them. Play clock down to 8 seconds. It's Holmes again to Towery up the middle, and he might be able to go all the way. He's going to be tackled at the 3-yard line. Cooper Towery has come to play on senior night.
And he's running right back to the line of scrimmage. I think you got to feed it to him again, right? Back to back. I think Cooper Towery was thinking he was going to get in the end zone in both of those plays, so might as well keep feeding him the rock here.
1st and goal inside the 5. They keep Towery out there. They go ahead and look back at the sidelines, see what they want to do, if they want to stick to the same play they had or change it up. Now Towery to the left. It's Brody Hunter in motion. Holmes takes it himself on that left side, runs into a pack of Wolves, and he'll be down at the 1. Holmes is trying to find his 5th rushing touchdown of the season right now. As we approach 2 minutes left here in the second quarter, brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. And Grapevine will go ahead and let that tick down to the 2-minute timeout. We'll take a short break and come back with 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line here at Mustang Panther Stadium, where you're watching a special Thursday edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
American Power. Texas Drive. Classic Chevrolet. #1 in the world. Limited time. A special selection of new Chevys. More than anyone. All priced below market value. Plus, pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
And we bring you back with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. They have Cooper Towery, who stays on the field behind Jalen Holmes. 2nd and goal from the 1. Hunter in motion. And then they're going to go ahead with a quarterback sneak. And Jalen Holmes is in. Touchdown, Mustangs. Jalen Holmes with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, that's how you finish your drive right there. Ground and pound, little QB sneak, power offense there, getting across the goal line. That's, heck of a play there. Way to finish the drive.
Holmes, 5'10", 200 pounds, all of it on that play. As Austin Schilling lines up to kick the extra point. Ball is up. And it is good, and Grapevine, a force to be reckoned with here tonight. With 1:57 left, up 14-0.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new, beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, if you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family.
And you're not burning money.
One location, 4 amazing brands. Grubb's family of dealerships. Located on Highway 114, 25 acres of luxury car shopping. After 75 years of serving the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro, we invite you to shop Grubb's Acura, Infiniti, Polestar, and Volvo, all in Grapevine.
And we bring you back where Grapevine looks like they were going to try to maybe do a little bit of an onside kick, but in this case the ball will go out of bounds. And it will be a penalty on the Mustangs, so the Wolves will get good field position with this drive, starting with 1:57 left in the second quarter. We go back to that scoring drive for Grapevine that started on their own 41-yard line. 8-play drive that was capped off by a 1-yard touchdown run by Jalen Holmes, but Cooper Towery, including about a 27-yard run that he had there, is playing really well tonight.
Yeah, one of the more complete drives of the season from this Grapevine offense. When we talked about the Grapevine defense being able to stay off the field, get some air, get some, an extra breather. Well, like we mentioned before on the other end, the Timberview defense is not getting much of a breather. And so that's when the threshold for those big chunk plays really opens up. We saw a couple chunk plays there. Cooper Towery running the rock And then the way to end the drive with Jalen Holmes, QB sneak, kind of tricked him, made it look like it was going to be shotgun. Right before the snap, stuck under center. Good job reeling it in and pushing forward.
Let's see what Stephen Hall wants to do. So far tonight, he wants to try to keep hitting that fade ball. He's got time on the right, and he finds a receiver. Nice catch by Shaw. Had Luke Heck draped all over him. Good for a 15-yard catch, a first down.
Yeah, heck of a play bringing that in. Strong hands from Shaw. No easy task when you got a defender draped on you and a ball coming your way, especially going across the middle like that. Nice effort.
Hurry-up offense by Mansfield Timberview. Carry that bounces what looked to be outside, but Grapevine brings the ball carrier back inside. That's Cedric Portley. First time seeing him tonight with 73 carries for 272 yards rushing, averaging about 3 yards and 0.8 per carry with 7 touchdowns. So we approach now a minute 32 left in the first half.
It's like the line judge on the Grapevine sideline threw his flag. Maybe not sure if they're going to, it looks like they're going to back him up. Maybe a false start by that receiver there on the bottom of the screen against Judah Johnson.
So they try to sort this one out. Keep in mind that the Wolves do have 2 timeouts. And so now with that 5-yard penalty, backs him up. And now that's going to bring up a 2nd and long upcoming. Late substitution, Tayden Sneed gets out just in time for the Mustangs. Hall drops back, wants to go downfield again, and he's got a receiver that catches it down at the 15-yard line. That was caught by Kobe Gooden, who kind of just let that ball fall right into his lap as he fell down.
Yeah, plenty of space around him. Kind of could have been a touchdown ball if he let him just a little bit more, but nevertheless, completed pass in the red zone.
So again, hurry-up offense for the Wolves. Wants to go and hit 6, and making the leaping catches, Tristan Shaw. You can see why UCLA likes this guy. Good for a touchdown.
Talk about scoring quick. Hey, that was maybe 35 seconds off the clock. I mean, they started under the 2-minute warning, able to get a touchdown quickly. And then they got a funky formation here on the PAT.
Yeah, a little swing gate action. Grapevine was ready for it, so the Wolves will line up for the extra point. Keep in mind that they will get the ball to start the second half as well. And the extra point is up, and it is good. And so for Grapevine, letting up a quick score here. That scoring drive for the Wolves started on their own 45-yard line, and then 4 plays later, 15-yard touchdown throw from Stephen Hall to Tristan Shaw.
Yeah, with the way this first half has kind of gone for Timberview, you can't really ask for much more from your offense there. 4 plays, scoring quick, and, got 2 timeouts. Grapevine's going to want to probably be aggressive knowing that Timberview's getting the ball to start the half, so be interesting to see what the Grapevine offense dials up here.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator for Mansfield Timberview is Eric Stevens, who's in his first year as the OC for the Wolves. He's a former Mansfield Timberview football player from 2009 to 2013. He played over at Texas Tech, where he had about 1,196 career rushing yards, along with 25 touchdowns, and then was a former Texas State running back coach before coming here.
Go Red Raiders.
I figured you liked that one. Now, Grapevine does have 3 timeouts. See if they want to get aggressive here. It's Jose Hernandez that lines up to kick this one away. And it's Linnell Randolph who aggressively fields that catch. And he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. Dropped at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, catching the ball in stride.
You saw how Luke Stewart did it on that punt return.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking advantage of the way that ball was kind of kicked at him and getting some plus yardage for his offense. Plenty of time if you're Grapevine offense here. You got 3 timeouts, a minute 8. Playbook is wide open. You can run the ball, throw it. You got some timeouts to work with, and you don't want to get off the field too quickly and have Timberview get another shot at it for the half.
Towery behind Holmes. Jalon Lewis in at the Stang position. Towery trying to find a hole, breaks a tackle, and then is slung down. And the clock will keep ticking unless Grapevine wants to choose to call a timeout here. Taden Sneed, who had a tough assignment, pretty much blocking on his own out there on the perimeter, but able to hold his man there to the very last end.
Yeah, heck of a job. We'll get another look by this Gray Mark Insurance instant replay. Cooper Tower able to kind of hop, skip, break out of some tackles there. Tried to bounce it to the outside, but nice job there by the secondary, keep it contained.
Yeah, I apologize. That was actually Brady Kays out there on the perimeter, the tight end. Tough assignment, but he's 6 foot, 200 pounds, using all his body. And Grapevine looks like they're going to be okay with trying to run this clock out. Jake Graham, who is sandwiched after a couple yards, tackled mostly made by Chapo Chavez. Head coach Jacoby Coleman raved about his middle linebacker Chavez, saying that how smart and productive player he is. Gets everyone lined up. Pretty much the quarterback of the defense, but Grapevine will go ahead and have a 14-7 lead to close out our first half. As you can tell down there, they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, got some juice flowing, going in the locker room up 7. So can't complain there. I mean, up 1, so heck of a job.
Well, we'll take a short break here. It is halftime, brought to you by Chill. When we come back, we'll give you a little summary of the first half and get you ready for the second half here at Mustang Panther Stadium between Grapevine and Mansfield Timberview, where our score right now is 14-13. Grapevine leads.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family,
and you're not burning money.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
American Power. Texas Drive. Classic Chevrolet. #1 in the world. Limited time. A special selection of new Chevys. More than anyone. All priced below market value. Plus, pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
And we welcome you back to the start of the second half. Our score, 14-7. Had a little Ron Burgundy moment, I guess, there at the end of the first half with the score originally thinking it was 14-13. But here we are now, 14-7, where Grapevine leads in what probably was their best first half of the season. Now, as far as total yards go, Mansfield Timberview had 136 to compare to Grapevine's 110, but Drew, you and I were talking about at halftime. It's all about field position right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Both offenses a bit limited in yards, but really that just goes down to that field position game that Grapevine was so well at in that first half. Pinning Timberview back, pinning them at one point. Jalen Holmes had a punt that pinned them inside the 5. So, just playing that field position. We talked about it pregame. It's a third of the game, and yeah, like you said, the rushing from Grapevine, 76 yards, a good chunk of that came from that scoring drive with Cooper Towery running the rock.
Yeah, Cooper Towery's off to a nice start tonight as he has over, I would say, about 50 yards rushing. Looks like we don't have his stats surprisingly posted right now. But as far as the rushing game goes, in total, 76 yards. I want to let you know our halftime show is brought to you by Chill, out there, beautiful Main Street in downtown Grapevine.
And heck of a job by these two senior quarterbacks. Jalen Holmes running the offense, and Ty Johnson taking advantage of the opportunity he got, finding his guy Jake Graham for the touchdown.
And it's Cade Moreland. It gets us started here in the second half. A little pooch kick, fielded at the 45-yard line. We've seen that all throughout tonight. Pretty sure Grapevine at this point, they know how athletic and fast the Wolves are. In this case, yeah, you give up a little bit of field position, but you're not giving up the home run play, I would imagine.
Yeah, it also gives, your defense some confidence. Like, you're telling your defense, hey, we're going to try and sneak one past them, get a pooch kick here, and if we don't get it, we trust you guys to get a stop. So that only kind of puts some confidence in your defense.
I want to let you know our third quarter tonight brought to you by Compass Church. And so we've seen this Grapevine defense able to create a couple of turnover on downs against the Wolves offense. Wolves just not been able to get anything through the passing game other than that touchdown throw to Shaw. And it's a backward pass on that left side, and Grapevines have to get sideline to sideline to make a play here. The Wolves pick up about 7 to start out this second half. That was Braylon Barnett on the catch.
Yeah, good play design by the Timberview offense. In the first half, couldn't really get the passing game going. Couple, miscommunications, couple drops. So nice, easy completion out for your quarterback.
For Barnett, I believe that's his first catch tonight. Lead receiver for this Wolf squad. A throw over the middle and behind Shaw. That's another play we've seen a few times where they try to get Shaw open in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it looked like, Hall thought it was maybe a streak route, but ended up being a post route. A little miscommunication there again, through behind the receiver. They'll want to get that dialed in. But yeah, if you're this Grapevine defense, you want to get a stop, you want to stay locked in. You came into the halftime with the lead. Time to stay disciplined.
So now it's Miles Davis who comes into the game at quarterback, and a crash right there in the interior part of the line. Tatum Evans, along with Cooper Towery, in on the tackle. And it's going to be close.
Let's get another look at it. Graymark Insurance Instant Replay. You said it, Mason. What a lick on this tackle here. Making it not an easy decision for the rest, but looks like they're going to move the chains. But like you said, Miles Davis coming in, getting the first down, but nice hit.
He definitely took a licking for that run, and they're going to keep him in the game. And this is something that the Wolves like to do, mix in their couple quarterbacks. Davis a little bit more on the size. And nice play there by Cedric Hicks. We talk about someone with some speed from that defensive line position, able to get out to the flats and make that tackle.
Yeah, we always talk about this linebacker crew, and that play starts with them right there. You have the outside linebacker, Cooper Towery, setting the edge and allowing Cedric Hicks to funnel in and make the tackle.
Stephen Hall now back in the game at quarterback. On a 2nd and 10. Grapevine shows heat. They bring it. Hall has a receiver, and it's caught near the 30. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another tackle. It's Shaw, who eventually is thrown out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, a couple tackles able to be broken there by Shaw. Nice job finding the open space for his quarterback and turning upfield, getting some yards after catch.
It's a 28-yard reception for Shaw, the lead receiver for the Wolves tonight. And right up along that right side, able to find a hole. Touchdown Wolves on that 13-yard run. So for the Wolves, they made it look pretty easy. We've seen them already score pretty quickly earlier tonight in the first half, and this is how they start off in the second half. And the extra point is up, and it is good as Jacoby Easter, who scores on the 13-yard touchdown run, now to tie up our ball game at 14-all.
You know, you'll hear around, Texas high school football, the most important minutes are the last 2 minutes of the first half and the opening 2 minutes of the second half. So, you saw Timberview with a quick score to end the half, and then to open up, 5 plays, just getting it in for a 13-yard touchdown run, getting on the outside and scoring quick.
Yeah, that was a drive that started on their own
protecting what matters
45-yard line.
At Graymark Insurance, we make home and auto coverage simple.
Our instant replay tonight brought to you by Graymark Insurance.
Old-fashioned service, uncommon speed. That's the Graymark promise. Visit mygraymark.com today and learn more. Again, that's mygraymark.com. Life moves fast, but protecting what matters shouldn't be complicated. At Graymark Insurance, we make home
and we bring you back to the action,
simple, affordable,
where
and
the Wolves have tied it up 14-all.
Old-fashioned service, uncommon
Grapevine
speed.
fields his
That's
kick
the
at about
Graymark
the
promise.
5,
Visit
and then tackled at about the 25-yard line is where Grapevine will take over. And for the Wolves, that touchdown drive started on their own 45-yard line, and then 5 plays later ended up in a 13-yard touchdown run for Jacoby Easter. That was Dash Slapa with the return. So for Grapevine, they got their work cut out for them. I mean, again, we talked about how well a first half they had. We'll see if they continue from what they did in that first half, trying to establish that run game with Cooper Towery. But you got to think that this defense is feasting on that run as well for the Wolves.
Yeah, you're going to have to stay aggressive here if you're Grapevine. Being tested here, tie game, start of the second half.
Oh, no, there's an issue there with fielding the snap, and I think Grapevine was still able to come down with it, as that was Holmes, who was able to escape danger, because right now the momentum is all pointing towards the Wolves in the early part of this second half.
Yeah, that was a quick play there, kind of a quick mishap. Jalen Holmes just nothing else to do other than get on the ball and keep possession.
So now Grapevine goes into their next package where they have Cooper Towery at the quarterback position along with Jake Graham to his right. Jalon Lewis at that Stang position along with Brady Kays bringing the muscle in motion on the right. And Grapevine didn't like what they saw, and they're going to go ahead and call a timeout. That will give us a chance actually to bring you some more stats from that first half. Both teams had only 6 first downs each, but you go to the rushing attack. For Mansfield Timberview, they had 12 yards rushing compared to 76 for Grapevine. For penalties tonight, the Wolves had 3 for 48, while Grapevine only 2 for 10. That's something that we talked about even last week. It seems like the penalty yardage has definitely gone down from the early parts of the season for Grapevine. No turnovers on each side. Stephen Hall in that first half was 6 of 18 for 124 yards and 1 touchdown. That was over to Shaw. While Ty Johnson, 1 throw, 1 catch for a 22-yard touchdown to Jake Graham. Talk about efficiency. Jalen Holmes, 4 of 7 for 12 yards. And then rushing tonight, it's Cooper Towery with 14 carries, 72 yards. We mentioned about him and the amount of bursts that he's been able to produce here tonight. We do have his stats right there. And then for Grapevine, leading the charge receiving-wise is Jake Graham, that one catch for 22 yards that ended up in a touchdown.
Yes, all some promising things, some things you can definitely take into the halftime and hang your hat on, especially the turnovers and the penalty yardage.
So it's a carry up the middle by Holmes on the read option. As you can imagine, all the attention will be going over to Cooper Towery. And Holmes looked like he had some daylight there for a second, but the Wolves were able to snatch him up.
Yeah, like you said, it looked like there was a little bit of daylight there. Kind of going east-west, sideline to sideline there, and defense will just kind of take you with them, take you to the sideline. Want to see put the foot in the ground and cut up field.
So that brings up 3rd and 11. We've seen Brody Hunter with a catch tonight for 14 yards. Holmes wants to look downfield, throws down the middle, and it looks like it's going to be caught for a first. In on the catch is Luke Stewart, and yes, first down, Mustangs, a Pat White State Farm first down.
Yeah, heck of a play here by Jalen Holmes. We talked about putting his foot in the ground, but this is kind of doing something different. Stepping into the throw, and you got to really like the patience here. Could have tried to tuck it and run, but able to kind of hang in the pocket and find his guy.
Yeah, for Luke Stewart, it was a 14-yard catch. That's Luke Stewart's second catch of the night. He's got 18 yards so far. 1st and 10. Holmes hands it off to Jake Graham. Jake Graham cuts up field, takes a pop, holds on to the ball. Down for an 8-yard gain. Talk about ball security there.
Yeah, high and tight. Nice job hanging on to that rock. Taking a big hit there. But way to go off the blocking. Nice blocking by Hunter Lux there, the guard, the pulling guard, making headway for his guy, Jake Graham.
Jake Graham, only a sophomore. Bright future ahead. Got some time last year and has been the lead back for the Mustangs this season. Closing in on 450 yards rushing this year. And it's Holmes out to Chase Carter. Chase Carter looked like his foot might have got stuck in the turf there for a second and was tackled after a small gain. David Hill with the tackle. It's good for a Mustang first down, though. David Hill, a UTSA commit, with the tackle.
Yeah, I like the play call there. Nice, easy throw. Looked like Jalen Holmes had a couple options, could have ran it, but he threw it off to the flat. Enough for a first down.
Chase Carter's the second time we've seen him here tonight. He was out for a few games earlier this season with a concussion. Good to see him back out in the field. As we approach 6 minutes left in our third quarter, brought to you by Compass Church. Brady K's in motion. Holmes wants to take off by himself. Tries to get some push on that left side, but nothing happening. As it was Caden Washington, the 5'8", 135-pound junior, in on the tackle.
Yeah, good job by Timberview, kind of just clogging up any inside lanes there that Jalen Holmes could find, keeping Grapevine offense at a minimal gain.
And Caden Collier, the defensive tackle for the Wolves, who played a lot last year too, also in on that tackle. So that brings up 2nd and 8 for Derek Sides in this offense. He's got Jake Graham on his right, and he hands it off to Graham. And Graham tries to make something out of nothing, as he'll pick up about 3. I mentioned about how tough a runner Jake Graham is. Tough to bring him down, and he's all about trying to get that pad leverage, and also, too, only getting hit down below because if you try to, especially in that thigh range, he's going to try to at least leap forward for an extra couple as he falls down to the ground.
Yeah, he keeps his feet moving. Absolutely.
3rd and 5 for the Mustangs. Trips to the left. We'll see if they go ahead and hand it off to Graham. As you might imagine, this could be 4th down territory depending on how this play shakes out. But Grapevine's going to go ahead and call a timeout. And we'll take one ourselves here with 4:25 left in the third. You are watching a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
One location, 4 amazing brands. Grubbs family of dealerships. Located on Highway 114, 25 acres of luxury car shopping. After 75 years of serving the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro, we invite you to shop Grubbs Acura, Infiniti, Polestar, and Volvo, all in Grapevine. Our service departments are fully staffed and ready to help with walk-ins or appointments. Start with the best, skip the rest at Grubbs family of dealerships.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
When you bring you back to Mustang Panther Stadium, where the Mustangs are facing a 3rd and 5 at 4:25 left in the third quarter. We haven't seen Cooper Towery get the ball yet to start this second half. Holmes wants to throw it to Brody Hunter, and he catches his own deflection, and he is going to be stopped about 5 yards short of the first down marker. See what Grapevine wants to do on getting aggressive here. I mean, just a nice heads-up play by Holmes to gather that and trying to make something with all those Wolves right in front of him.
Yeah, not quite like Marcus Mariota catching your own pass, but heck of a job just staying composed and hanging on to it.
So Grapevine will show punt. And as we've mentioned, Holmes has been excellent at punting for most of tonight, already downing 2 inside the 20, which one of those eventually led to a touchdown for the Mustangs once they got the ball back at the Wolves 19. And so with Holmes' punt, it's fielded about the 10, and a return up to the 30, spins away from a tackler, and then a bunch of Mustangs are able to push him out of bounds, and then they throw a penalty there towards the end of the play. And, you know, Drew, you got that philosophy there where, you know, depending on which side of the field that happens at, it's over there on the Wolves sidelines, that might have something to play with there.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that influence the sideline has on those questionable late hits out of bounds. You see these refs kind of talking it over. I personally think Grapevine was just rallying to the football. You know, all 11 guys on that kickoff team, punt team.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to do here. So they do decide on throwing a personal foul on Grapevine. And so the Wolves will get excellent field position to start this next drive. All the way to the 48-yard line on the Mustang side.
Yeah, the return was pretty costly because, you know, you'd think Grapevine's going to stick with that theme of pinning them back and having the defense do their job, but pretty good return and 15 yards added onto it.
So it's Stephen Hall in the shotgun. Hands it off on that right side, and the Wolves are finding a lot of gaps in the running lanes. It's Jacoby Easter that's going to take this all the way back for a touchdown. Jacoby Easter with a 48-yard touchdown run, his second of the night.
Yeah, I tell you what, this Timberview offense has kind of turned this game into a bit of a boxing match. Grapevine's going to have to respond with their own shot.
As it looks like the Wolves will go ahead and attempt the extra point. Yeah, there definitely are some gaping holes on that right side of the line right now that the Wolves are creating with that offensive line of theirs, and that extra point is up and good, and that brings our score now to 21-14. Wolves lead here in Grapevine with 3:06 left in the third quarter. You're watching a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
So, if you're Coach Ryan Smith, I think the biggest thing here is rally, keep the team in close, pull them together and say, hey, it's all right. It's going to bounce back here. Stay. You want to keep that positive vibe and, keep the vibe high and make sure that, you keep them together and have this offense go out there and throw their 1-2 punch.
Well, and this is a team that's faced a lot of adversity. I mean, you think about them, of course, only winning one game so far against Burkeville there in week 2, but been close a few other times, a few plays away from maybe coming away with an additional win or two. But we go back to even talking about that senior class that has really set the tone for the culture that Coach Smith wants to implement here in Grapevine. And they have been battle-tested, and for them to come out of the second half, I mean, you have to gather yourself at some point here because we've seen this Wolves offense score so quickly. I mean, that was a one-play drive. The previous drive was 5 plays. And then on their first score in the first half, it was 4 plays. And so it's Luke Stewart that finds a lane and then is tackled at the 35-yard line. Luke Stewart having a nice game on special teams. Go back to that return that brought the ball down to the 19-yard line on the Wolves side after what was only a 35-yard punt from the end zone that the Wolves had in that second quarter. So now Grapevine's got their work cut out for them. And we'll see who they have coming out at quarterback. It's Jalen Holmes still.
Going to want to get the play call in and keep everything crisp and execute the play at hand.
Jake Graham in the backfield. He takes the rock and he finds a lane, muscles his way to the 39-yard line. Good for a gain of 5.
Yeah, not a bad start. Getting a nice gain on first down.
And it looks like we might have a timeout on the referee staff. And while they discuss that, we talked about Coach Smith plenty of times setting that tone. This is a guy that's coming in as his first year as a head coach of high school football in Texas. Last year he was an offensive coordinator / quarterback coach for East Texas Baptist University. He also has experience as an OC for Midlothian Heritage back in 2002, where he actually had plenty of success for Midlothian Heritage as well as an OC. So 2nd and 5. Holmes has time, wants to take a shot deep. He might have a receiver. Oh, it's in and out of the hands. Down at the 20-yard line. That was Luke Stewart, who the defender looked like lost the ball from looking at too much of Luke Stewart, and Luke Stewart was able to identify, just couldn't come down with it.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it on this Gray Mark Insurance insert replay. Jalen Holmes just slinging it, putting some air under that ball, looking back, finding his guy, trying to look the other way is to get that safety to go on that half of the field and have his receiver, Luke Stewart, wide open over the top. Just couldn't quite connect.
For Luke Stewart, definitely would love to have that one back. A star wide receiver for this Mustang crew. 2 touchdowns this season. It's 3rd and 5 now. And up the middle, and the Wolves had other ideas. Talk about a defensive stand. That was Luke Gormley, who Grapevine already had success with that once tonight on the 4th and 1 conversion in the first half, but this time they were ready for it.
Yeah, it's an interesting Wildcat look because both runners in the backfield have their hands up as if they're going to take the snap, so trying to keep the defense guessing, but Timberview sniffed that one out.
So now it's 4th and 4. And from what we can see, Grapevine's going to go ahead and have their offense out. It's that same package again between Luke Gormley and Cooper Towery. And Towery is going to be close to a first down. And I think they might actually give it to him.
That second effort by Cooper Towery, he got up pretty amped after that tackle. Heck of a job and heck of a play call, going right back to it.
And they're going to say, yes, a first down carry for Cooper Towery on that 4-yard run.
So the same formation here, Wildcat, but instead you got Cooper Towery running behind the lead block, Luke Gormley, and just, going right back to the well there on that Wildcat and able to move the chains for a first down.
Linebackers that are right next to each other on defense and on offense too. That first down brought to you by Pat White State Farm. First and 10 from the 44. 1:10 left in our third quarter. It's Ray Ming Zhao near the perimeter. Chase Carter trying to do the best he can to be a lead blocker for him. It'll be a gain of 3.
Yeah, no, heck of a job there blocking by Chase Carter on the bottom of the screen. I think Chase Carter maybe wanted the runner there, Ray Ming Zhao, to kind of go outside, go towards the numbers, cut it back up inside, but yeah, no, good effort there by Chase Carter blocking for his guy, Ray Ming Zhao.
That's such a tough assignment for a receiver to block out there on an island. As we approach 30 seconds left in our third quarter, brought to you by Compass Church. You got Cooper Towery in the backfield. Talk about a workhorse. And they give him the rock, and the Wolves are right there waiting for it. There's Juju Smith coming from that edge, setting the tone. Already with over 40 tackles this season. Add another tackle for loss, his 4th of the year.
Yeah, the 6'2 safeties coming, screaming down, playing downhill, playing behind the line of scrimmage, able to get that TFL.
Well, that takes us to the end of the third quarter with our score 21-14. We'll have 3rd and 10 upcoming when we see you on the other side in the fourth quarter. You're watching a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new, beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, if you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family.
And you're not burning money.
And we bring you to the fourth quarter here in Grapevine. A 3rd and 10. Holmes, pressured, finds a receiver. Oh, it's in and out of the hands. What looked to be Luke Stewart. And then the Wolves might have almost been close to intercepting that too. That was David Hill, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like this ball may have gone through a couple different hands there. David Hill to start and then pass through those hands and to the hands of Ryland Goen, possibly. That was Luke Stewart there. Yeah, a couple opportunities there on that pass.
Luke Stewart and Jake Graham were in the vicinity of that throw. But David Hill, who is a lockdown quarter, head coach Jacoby Coleman says not many people throw his way. You can see why. And so it's Holmes with the punt. And that will plop down at the 27-yard line. So for the Wolves, they obviously are in the driver's seat right now, up 7. And you have to wonder if they just keep the foot down and try to pick up some more here pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's what they're going to want to do. That's kind of been their MO when they've had scoring drives. I mean, no drive longer than 5 plays when they get a touchdown. So going to want to kind of keep everything in front of you if you're the Grapevine defense, but don't play conservatively. Don't play to lose or to win the game. Play with your hair's on fire and go out there and make some plays.
Well, I think right now it's about containing your gap. There's been some big holes that Easter has been able to run through. So it's Hall that actually looked like he was about to hand it off to Easter, and then almost a one-handed catch. It was Kobe Gooden. Ball was a little bit behind him. Incomplete. So interesting to see that Wolves stay aggressive here with Hall trying to find his receiver down the field. In coverage was Harrison Bargy. So it is Easter. He tries to cut up field and takes a smack by Brody Henderson, who's playing with his hair on fire right now. Easter able to pick up a tough 7 yards.
Yeah, playing downhill. That's Brody Henderson with a few big hits tonight. But, yeah, heck of a run there and hanging on to the football there by the running back there.
Coach Smith always said that Henderson is a guy that likes to get dirty in the box and stick his nose in there. And sure enough, he's been doing that a lot tonight. So the Wolves they picked up the first down, then almost cost themselves from having it. But the receiver was able to get back to his original line of scrimmage or where he caught it, pick up a first down. In coverage there was Linnell Randolph.
Yeah, nice job there. I think that was Dayan Hill on the far side there, just getting past the sticks. Or that's going to be
Bates, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be Bates there. Just getting past the line of scrimmage, the first down and catching it.
So Hall out to the perimeter, caught. Looks like that's Bates again. Tatum Evans there to knock him down. So it looks like right now the Wolves might have found something by going. Actually, no, that was Chance Collins, who is the Texas A&M commit, starting safety for the Wolves, but also does play both ways.
Yeah, you can see the quarterback's getting more and more comfortable with these quick shots.
Yep, and finds another man inside the 35-yard line. Catch made by Braylon Barnett. And the Wolves are cooking right now.
Right back on the ball, getting the play call in fast, and then having these receivers running down the field.
Hall with plenty of time, wants to go for it all, and actually looks like he might have just thrown it on the wrong side of the shoulder of Chance Collins there in the end zone. Yeah, Hall, he's about a gunslinger. He's not afraid to take the ball deep, and we've seen plenty of attempts at that. With his biggest throw of the night being completed to Shaw, and that went for 22 yards and a touchdown in the first half.
Yeah, the starting safety, Chance Collins there, couldn't quite adjust. I mean, it's a tough ask. Those are some of the hardest catches to make. But you got to like Timberview taking shots like that.
2nd and 10. Bargy coming off that edge. And just right where he was, the Wolves throw to that spot. And it's going to be another first down for Mansfield Timberview. Catch made by Taylor Hansen. Tackle made by Luke Gormley. Yeah, from what we saw here, Bargy, who plays so well, and the Wolves just had that counter punch there to throw right where he was about at when the play was snapped.
Yeah, they're calling the right plays. You know, it's senior night, and speaking of seniors, this halfback room is filled with them.
The 1st and 10. Hall rolls to the right, wants to go for it all again, and a great defensive play by Linnell Randolph. What looked to possibly be a catch by Kobe Gooden. Linnell Randolph had other ideas.
Yeah, heck of a play by Linnell Randolph. Getting his hands in there, getting the timing right. You know, we'll get another look at it on this Gray Mark Insurance Instant Replay. He puts his hands right in the play at the right time and does it. You can easily get a flag there. Then the ball is, you got a 15-yard penalty. But look at this. Soon as the receiver shows his hands, he puts his up. Heck of a play by Linnell Randolph.
It's that SWAT drill. Well, what we thought was actually a clean play, they're actually going to say that was a penalty. And, I mean, we were talking about how well the play that was. We did not see a flag. And then, sure enough, they throw what we would just consider a pass interference on Randolph.
Yeah, I would hope it's not, because that would just be a bad call. But it's we're going to have to check it out and see what that call was.
Yeah, we're not having the mics on for the referees, and that kind of does not help us out here in the booth. And it's Miles Davis who comes into the game, keeps the feet moving, and they're going to give him the touchdown with the help from his friends, the offensive line. Miles Davis on a 9-yard touchdown run. Davis, who 5'10", 195-pound senior, used all of that body mass along with the help of his teammates to get him in. Extra point is up and good by the Wolves, and our score now 28-14 with 9:43 left on our fourth quarter here in Grapevine, as you were watching a special Thursday night edition of Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Yeah, what you've seen from Timberview here to start this half, the way they ended the half, is what you know, if you're Timberview, that's how you want to end a half, and then to start, kind of kept it rolling.
Well, they
scoring fast.
Scoring fast and scoring at will. I mean, they've scored on their last 3 possessions, which has been their only possessions here in the second half. You go back to that 5-play drive that started out in the third quarter, ended up in a 13-yard touchdown run by Easter. Then on that next drive, it was 1 play, 22-yard run by Easter there as well. And then going over to what we just saw, which was a 9-play drive, their longest scoring drive of the night, that started on their own 27-yard line, finished off on a 9-yard touchdown run by Miles Davis, and that is his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, very balanced attack from the Timberview offense there. A couple good runs, and then Stephen Hall able to find his receivers on the outside with a couple quick routes, and then allowing his receivers to get some yards after catch.
So for Grapevine, they're going to have to score pretty fast here and get themselves back in this game. They only have 1 timeout left as well, and it's Randolph who is being punched almost at that point, trying to have the ball being knocked out, and then there is a little bit of jostling going on after the play, and a flag was thrown. Luke Hecht was in on the action, and they'll discuss and see who they want to throw this penalty on. But yeah, for the Mustangs, you have a passing attack that we haven't seen really be able to get downfield yet. I mean, the biggest touchdown so far we've seen tonight through the air with Grapevine was that 22-yard touchdown catch by Jake Graham from Ty Johnson. And so they're going to call holding on Grapevine, actually, throughout all that mess. And so now that would pin Grapevine deep in their own zone with 9:35 left in our ball game.
Yeah, tough couple calls for Grapevine on the defensive side and on the special team side here. Could argue that the refs missed a potential horse collar attempt there on the tackle on Linnell Randolph. But nevertheless, Grapevine's offense is backing up, but they're going to look to go the whole field here, 85 yards, score a touchdown.
And it's Ty Johnson at the quarterback position. 1 for 1 tonight. It was a touchdown throw. In this case, though, he hands it off to Jake Graham, who was the one that he threw the touchdown pass to for a couple. I'm going to give you some scoring updates from District 3 5A Division 2. Right now, Argyle is up 17-0 against Burleson in the second quarter, while Everman is up 21-10 against Arlington Seguin at half. We mentioned about a lot of matchups that were originally scheduled for Friday, now rescheduled for today due to possible severe storms tomorrow. 2nd and 8. Graham in motion. And in this case, it is incomplete. It's close to maybe what you thought maybe would be PI. Brody Hunter was the intended receiver. And the defense was Cedric McPherson. Drew, it almost looked like it was the same play that Ty Johnson hit Jake Graham over there at the perimeter. The attention goes to him. You might find Hunter, but the defense was there too.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision by Ty Johnson. Found his receiver, but heck of a defensive play.
3rd and 8 now. There is a flag. Might be a free play for the Mustangs. And that ball will fall down to the turf. Intended receiver looked like Brody Hunter again. But the Wolves might have been offside. So with that, it'll be 5 free yards for the Mustangs. With 8:47 left. I mean, there still is time, but as we were just talking about it, Drew, there might be a time or two you might have to take a few aggressive shots downfield.
Yeah, and you're really going to have to you want to put this Timberview defense on their heels, and you can do that with some tempo.
So Johnson in the empty formation. Brody Hunter by himself on the far side. Trying to get the Wolves offside. Johnson gives it off to Rylan Going. And the senior able to pick up the first down. Good for a 4-yard catch. Rylan Goen, who we talked about him in the pregame show, talked about a story that he had from back in spring ball, popped his collarbone, able to regroup over the summer and come back right before the midnight scrimmage. And then this season, coming into tonight's game, 28 catches for 309 yards, averaging 11 yards a catch, along with 1 touchdown.
Yeah, Rylan Goen, tough receiver, one of the 2 seniors on this team, Luke Stewart and Rylan Goen. Heck of a job getting the first down.
So now it's Johnson that gives it off to Graham. And Graham, who was playing bumper cars there for a second, was able to bump off a couple of Wolves, but then was brought down maybe for about a yard gain. So it's been tough sledding in this second half for the rushing attack of the Mustangs. This is a rushing attack that averages 127 yards a game. And for an offense in total, 272 yards. 2nd and 8. Cooper Towery on that left side gets around the corner. Man, is he fast. And he pops one near the 50-yard line. Good for another Pat White State Farm first down.
Yeah, exactly what you needed if you're the Grapevine offense. Get down the field, get a nice little chunk play there, move the chains, you'll get another look at it. Double back set. Ty Johnson hands it off to Cooper Towery, and then Jake Graham leading the blocking.
15-yard gain by Cooper Towery. And he's back there with Graham. And now Grapevine, who again, down by 2 scores, still waiting to get the signal to figure out what play they want to run. Down to 3 seconds on the play clock. To handoff to Graham. Breaks the tackle. Lowers the shoulder. Brought down at the 49. Good for a gain of 6.
Yeah, nice run there on first down. But Grapevine's not in a position where we want to be milking the play clock very much. We want to get in this tempo, and that's what you'll see here.
They quickly get up to the line of scrimmage. They have 155 yards of offense tonight, while Mansfield Timberview has 294. And a bulk of that coming here in the second half.
Yeah, Grapevine's liking what they're getting out of this personnel, this formation look here with the 2-back set.
And fakes the handoff. Wants to take a deep shot to Luke Stewart. Oh, man, it looked like he might have had another chance at that one. He was mirrored by Davin Hill. And Luke Stewart, again, looking for that home run play.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it here. Graymark Insurance replay. Nice job by Davin Hill. just kind of being handsy with Luke Stewart there, and Luke Stewart having to fight back, try and create some separation before he's able to kind of get his extra hand in there. The ball's already floating in.
Well, you can tell why UTSA wants a player like Hill to play next year for him. It's 3rd and 5. Handoff to Graham. Oh, sorry, Cooper Towery on that right side. And I think it should be enough. It is enough for a first down. Brought to you by Pat White State Farm. So Cooper Towery, just that burst of speed that he has, as he is now over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, heck of a run there. Really showing his grit and putting the foot in the ground and going downhill, get some yards.
So now the Mansfield Timberview defense loading up that box, pretty much challenging Grapevine to take a shot deep if they want to. Towery in motion. And it looks like a little bit of miscommunication there between Ty Johnson and Rylan Goen.
Yeah, so you saw, I think that was Cooper Towery going out and running out in the flat there in motion. And then so you had the receiver there blocking, thinking it was going to go to the flat. But Ty Johnson ended up going with the little slant route to Rylan Goen. But yeah, like you said, miscommunication.
Well, it looks like Johnson wanted Cooper Towery to beat the decoy. And so in that case, you get that one-on-one battle. And Goen is pretty good at winning those one-on-one battles. But in the miscommunication there between the two. 2nd and 10. It's Towery, who plunges forward into a pack of defenders. Gain of 2.
You know, we say it a lot. You don't have to get it all here, but I think you do want to get a nice chunk play here. Go ahead and move the first, get the chains moving, and, you know, get some offense rolling and get maybe in the red zone area.
So this brings up 3rd and 8 for the Mustangs. Cooper Towery stays out there. He's heating up right now. And they give him the rock again. Gets around the edge. Lowers the shoulder. Takes a hit. And he's going to be short of about a couple yards as it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, we've been saying his name a couple times on this drive. David Hill. Heck of a tackle there. Meeting Cooper Towery on the outside there. Keeping his contained. Boom. Nice, yeah. Heck of a play here. So you'll see on this Gray Mark Insurance replay. Bouncing outside. But nice job by David Hill. Keeping the outside shoulder free and kind of getting Cooper Towery up in the air a little bit.
Yeah,
nice aggressive tackle.
Tough to do that. He's about 30 tackles this season. So it's 4th and 2. Luke Gormley. Right there on that left side, able to run up the gut and pick up a first down and keep this drive alive.
Yep, coach picked the play out of his gotta-have-it folder. Those two guys in the backfield makes it tough on the defense.
We've seen that package a handful of times here tonight. They also have Cedric Hicks that's out there in that package too. And even Tatum Evans. I mean, you might as well just have that whole linebacker crew play offense as well. So now this is the 14th play of this drive. With 3:25 left, you have to start thinking, score now, with this being a 2-possession game. So it's Graham, who, again, not an easy man to bring down. Picks up what looks to be, actually, I don't know if they gave him a good spot there on that run. About a gain of 5.
Yeah, tough running here. You'll see it again on this instant replay brought to you by Gray Mark Insurance. Jake Graham getting the rock. Good pursuit by the defense, but able to keep his feet moving and get as many possible yards. Nice gain of 5.
That's Tatum Sneed there, blocking his man all the way to the sidelines. Seen him play so well here tonight, a returning starter from last year. According to Coach Smith, one of the most athletic guys in this group. Former baseball player, too. You always like those guys that can play multiple sports. Mentioned about Cedric Hicks playing lacrosse. Hunter Lux is also a lacrosse player, too, on that offensive line. And so for Grapevine, they have a 2nd and 6 upcoming with 3 minutes left after that injury timeout by the Wolves. Grapevine again with 1 timeout remaining. You have to start thinking. The first score has to come here soon to put yourself in a position. So it's Ty Johnson still out there. Hands it off to Towery on that right side. Gets upfield. He might have daylight. Yes, he does. All the way for a touchdown. Cooper Towery having the game of his life right now on that 28-yard run. Cooper Towery with great lead block by Jake Graham, able to take it the distance.
Heck of a job, and looks like the Grapevine offense may be going for 2 here, but heck of a job. We were talking about only a handful of plays left in this fourth quarter to get that touchdown on the board where you get a shot with 1 timeout left.
So there's that package again where it's Luke Gormley and Cooper Towery. Who's going to get it? It's Luke Gormley. Gormley fighting for the end zone, and he's not going to get it short of just a yard.
Let's get another look at this touchdown run. Cooper Towery bouncing it to the outside on a little sweep concept. Let's look at this O-line here. This initial put, look at the pulling guards there. Everybody doing their job, and then Cooper Towery with the rock, putting his foot in the ground and getting vertical.
All right, Towery, that's speed, and that is actually why he is going to play over at Harding University next year. It's for him being a running back, not a linebacker, which he's as talented as a linebacker as well. But Coach Smith was telling us this week that is actually why he's playing college football next year, because of what he makes happen at that running back position.
Yeah, we said it pregame, but Harding University is getting a football player. Put him just about anywhere, and he'll make some plays. I want to touch on the 2-point conversion attempt there. It makes sense. Grapevine's going to have to get the ball back a second time, so might as well take that shot there. If you get the ball back, score a touchdown, kick the PAT, you got the lead. So I get the concept there. Either way, defense going to have to get a stop.
We mentioned about Grapevine playing with house money right now and playing loose. It's Cade Moreland that's going to line up for what you would imagine an onside kick. They've had some success with this so far. And here we go. They line it up. And the onside kick gets a bounce, but it's fielded by Mansfield Timberview, and then taken along that right side of the field. Eventually swarmed by some Mustangs, including Judah Johnson. But it was a wrestling match there right around the 50-yard line. And so for Mansfield Timberview, they will take over just before the 50-yard line.
Yeah, onside kick had some heat on it. David Hill able to cover it and try to take it the other way on the far sideline. You kind of would think maybe get down, play it safe, because if you're the Grapevine kickoff team, you're seeing it. You're like, okay, I get another chance at a fumble strip here, keeping the play alive. So invaluable seconds running off the clock as well.
Well, Grapevine's got 1 timeout left, also the 2-minute timeout to consider as well. In at the quarterback position is Miles Davis. And they're going to give it off to their running back. Tatum Evans was the first one to try to bring him down. It'll be good for a gain of 4. And we'll see what Grapevine wants to have. They want to go ahead and use that timeout with what I would imagine once they put the clock back up, about 2:17 left in the fourth quarter. That touchdown drive for the Mustangs started on their own 16-yard line. It was a 15-play drive. I have to imagine it's probably the longest scoring drive of the year, capped off by a 28-yard touchdown run by Cooper Towery.
Yeah, absolutely. They needed it too. Give themselves a shot, gave the opportunity for the outside kick. But, yeah, no, heck of a job going 85 yards for the score. You're on the plus side of the 2-minute warning, so you're going to get that 2-minute timeout, I should say. Not 2-minute warning, 2-minute timeout in play. So keep them at a third down and then kind of put the pressure. You have the opportunity to put the pressure on Timberview, whether they're going to keep it on the ground. I mean, I'm talking to play ahead here. I'm talking if it's third down, but, if you put an offense in that position, they're going to have to decide whether to throw it, keep it on the ground, and likely, you want an incompletion, stop the clock.
So they reset the clock up to 2:20, and it's Miles Davis at that quarterback position still. So you imagine there's going to be some kind of combination, you would think, of a run play. And it is up the middle, and there might not be anyone that touches them. Down to 15, tackled behind at the 5-yard line. Not sure if that might have been a fumble or not. And it looks like there might be, unfortunately, injury on that tackle, too. Credit Linnell Randolph to hustle and make that play before it was Cedric Portley that was able to find pay dirt.
Yeah, right up the gut. Nice play there by Cedric Portley, able to find the space. But like you said, nice hustle by Linnell Randolph. Chasing, not an easy task, chasing down Cedric Portley, but able to get him and bring him down. I thought maybe they were going to get an extra 15 yards there on the horse collar, but didn't quite see it.
So that takes us down to the 2-minute timeout with our score 28-20. First and goal for Mansfield Timberview. Well, no matter how this game shakes out, I mean, Grapevine absolutely has a lot of things to hold their head up high for. You look to the future here a little bit. You have next week against Argyle, which of course is going to be a tough customer. We've mentioned about them plenty of times being one of the favorites in 5A Division II. I mean, they're used to playing well into November and also into December when it comes playoff time. So that's going to be a tough matchup, obviously. And then you have the battle of all battles, the battle of the Red Rail against Colleyville Heritage to close out this season.
Oh, yeah, so good couple opportunities at the end of the season. Like you said, a lot of hang your head high up this matchup to go against the last 2 weeks of the season.
So it's a jumbo package, it looks like. Here is a couple of what might be defensive linemen there at that fullback position. Tatum Evans tries to bring down Miles Davis, and he is such a tough man to bring down as he punches it in to the end zone from that 4-yard run. Miles Davis, who, again, we mentioned 195-pound quarterback. And Tatum Evans did all he could to try to bring him down before he was in the end zone. But that's just such a tough task.
Yeah, tough run in there by Miles Davis getting in the end zone. Like you said, tough task. Big runner and runs with power.
Yeah, for him after that extra point is up and good. Miles Davis, that is his second touchdown run of the night. His first one was a 9-yard touchdown run, and they both have came in the fourth quarter. So that puts our score now at 35-20. That scoring drive for the Wolves started at midfield after the onside kick was unsuccessful for Grapevine. 3 plays later, capped off on that run there by Davis. But as we were just mentioning about it, Drew, Grapevine has had some great moments here, and they're going to take their talents over to Argyle, which tough place to play. Obviously a tough team to go up against too. And then you come back here for the Mecca against Colleyville Heritage, and there might be just a little bit of momentum that you can build up to that point, because in a game like that you throw out those record books.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely some good stuff from the Grapevine offense and Grapevine defense, and the energy is a big thing that I noticed tonight on senior night, getting the sidelines jumping and players flying around.
Trying to get a scoring update for the Argyle game. Right now it's still showing that they have scored 17 points in the second quarter, but if that's the case, that might be one of the longest second quarters I've ever seen as far as scoring goes. And it's Jose Hernandez that boots this one away, fielded by Randolph. And Randolph with excellent field vision, able to truck over a man and gets all the way up to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, heck of a run there by Linnell Randolph on the kickoff return, making it pretty, a little bit more manageable to maybe get a quick score and then get your onside kick unit out there again. It's asking a lot, but Linnell Randolph getting his team a shot here.
He's got such speed as you look on our instant replay here. And he had a similar return last week against the Colony, where he's able to break it off for about a 40-yard gain up to the 40-yard line. It's funny when Twitter, X, I don't know how the kids call it these days, but Randolph actually even posted the return that he had last week and said, I'm coming back for more to try to pop one off or even a bigger one, as he actually did right there.
Yeah, no, he absolutely running north and south.
So we got an injury over on the far side of the field, and looks to be a Wolf. But for Grapevine tonight, you would probably imagine that they would maybe just run this one out here, minute 45 left, down by 15 points. But we'll see if they want to get aggressive here and try to throw the ball a little bit. As, again, we've talked about it, they've been able to find some moments here tonight that can help carry them for the next 2 games of the season. Now, of course, they don't have any timeouts left either.
Going to have to see some magic like they had against Seguin, where, limited timeouts or none in this case, get some couple quick scores. But, yeah, going to only have a handful of plays here to get it down the field and put up 7.
Ty Johnson stays out as the quarterback, going in motion. So Grapevine comes out throwing. And over on that left side, caught just past the 45-yard line. That was Jaime Sanchez. First time seeing him tonight here on senior night, the senior.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times this year. Jaime Sanchez is pretty comfortable catching the ball out in the backfield, putting his foot in the ground and getting some extra yards.
His 5th catch of the season, about 45 yards total. Ty Johnson wants to look towards the sideline. That would have been a really tough grab there for Luke Stewart, trying to bring it down with one hand. They've been trying to connect on that big play between Ty Johnson or Jalen Holmes, for that matter, to Luke Stewart, who does have 2 touchdowns of the season. You have to go back to his best game of the year. It was against Birdville, where he had 5 catches for 107 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, Ty Johnson moving out of the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, trying to find his guy, but unable to reel it in or put it on him. Luke Stewart kind of had to put his hand out there, try to reel that in.
So Jaime Sanchez in the backfield. Johnson wanted to go deep, but he is sacked instead. And, yeah, a little bit of unsportsmanlike conduct there by the Wolves. And you like to see the Mustangs there, that offensive line, coming to make sure that doesn't continue.
Yeah, I hope the refs do the right thing here, in my opinion. You can't stand over a guy like that. And if you're an O-lineman, that's your responsibility to protect your quarterback, make sure no one gets, kind of disrespected like that.
Yeah, no kidding. So now the refs will have a discussion on what looks to be an obvious call.
If I may, we've seen it a few times in the NFL where they're flagging that.
Oh, gosh.
So,
you look at someone the wrong way, it's a flag in the NFL these days.
So they're not really allowing that standover in the NFL here, and so got to wonder what the refs are going to decide, whether it's going to be offsetting or one or the other.
And no Allen Iverson poses out here. So it will be dead ball penalty. But they're actually going to call it both ways. I mean, you have to imagine if you're on that Mustang side, you had to do something as far as getting the player at least just off your quarterback.
Oh, yeah. If you're no lineman, that's the code. Protect your quarterback, and you got zero tolerance for any of that kind of stuff in terms of roughing up the quarterback and being disrespectful.
So Johnson try to get the defense off sides here. 14 seconds left on the play clock. And Johnson wants to go deep again. And what looks to be, I would imagine, possibly pass interference. Chase Carter was all locked up and had no chance at catching that football. So instead of the flag being thrown, it ends up being incomplete. Chase Carter, who already has a couple of catches tonight. So we got 30 seconds left in tonight's game here at Grapevine. This is a Grapevine team that was up by 7 at the end of the first half. And so now it's going to be Coach Smith. You see that? Or, no, we see a Grapevine coaches out there on the end zone. But anyways, Coach Smith, who I see who is irate right now, there on the sidelines, letting the referee know what he thinks. Yes. Passionate guy, too, Coach Smith.
I think I may have a feeling what Coach Smith is not happy about. They're still being aggressive here, and the refs are kind of just letting it go.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here. What looks to be one of the Grapevine coaches now on the other side of the sidelines. But the Wolves will take over on offense with 30 seconds left. And Coach Smith still letting the refs have it.
Yeah, that coach is still in the back of the end zone for Grapevine.
This is bizarre.
I really do. We'll have to find out. But I think Coach Ryan Smith is saying, "Hey, we're still being aggressive here, officials. Call that. We need. We're still putting the pedal to the metal. Want to make sure these refs aren't falling asleep out there."
Yeah, and so the conversation going on. We talk to Coach Smith every week, and we sometimes ask him, your thoughts from the referees from the previous week, and he'll tell us every week, hey, I'm an emotional guy. I try to keep it fair with these refs. I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, too, you have to hold them compatible or have to hold them accountable for what they're doing. And there's some finger pointing going on the other side of the sidelines there by Coach Smith, too. So, he is completely furious right now. So I'll be curious. He is actually now just taking the headset off. I wonder how these post-game handshakes are going to go.
Yeah, I do not. Yeah, Coach Smith is not happy with this officiating crew. I think he's basically saying, what do you want me to do, run the ball out? No, I'm going to stay aggressive, and I need you guys to stay in the game. And when I say you, I'm talking about the officials.
It's Jacody Coleman, the head coach of the Wolves, that's now out at the 45-yard line. He spent the last 3 years as the head coach at Dallas Skyline, where he was 6-24.
There you go, right there.
Former defensive coordinator for Humble Tacita as well, and Luke Gormley tries to stick his nose in there in the offensive line of Mansfield Timberview, and that will be it. And Coach Smith runs out to make sure that there's nothing that's going to happen from his defense after the whistle. And with that, our final score is 35-20. Mansfield Timberview will come out here with a victory as they are in the heat of a playoff race coming into tonight's game in third place in District 3 5A Division 2. And you have to look back at Grapevine in that first half. Again, a very well played first half that they have, scoring 14 points, up 14-7. But you look at that second half, and the Wolves definitely made some adjustments, came out flying, scored quickly, and put themselves in a position to win at the end of this ball game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mentioned it earlier, but in Texas high school football, the most valuable moments in a game, I think, are the last 2 minutes of the first half and the first 2 minutes of the second half, or say 5 minutes. Timberview nailed it at the end of the half, scored quickly, I might add, and then to open the second half, 2 touchdowns right off the bat, kind of gave Grapevine's defense a 1-2 punch. Before Grapevine knew it, they were down, so they were just kind of having to fight back.
Well, and you look at the stats from tonight's game, what sticks out to me is total offensive yards, 354 total yards for the Wolves compared to 233 for Grapevine.
Yeah, no doubt, and they got a good amount of those yards in the second half. Grapevine was able to kind of hold them in check
in the first half just because of that field position battle, kind of pinning them back, making that defense work the whole field, making the Timberview offense work the whole field. But the running game, and you know what, I got to say, Stephen Hall really got more comfortable in the second half, finding his receivers on the outside, Braylon Barnett, Tristan Shaw. So heck of a job by getting him comfortable and getting him in a rhythm.
Well, that about does it here for tonight. My broadcast partner, Drew Doherty, former Grapevine wide receiver, joining us here, along with our producer, Trey, here tonight as well, giving you the broadcast of tonight's game where our final score, Mansfield Timberview wins 35-20, and we'll see you next week as Grapevine takes on Argyle over at Argyle. Good night, everyone.